22:11, and here I am in the best time zone ever to be live streaming anything. So, to the two or three of you out there and my bros in Europe and other time zones, what up? I am currently getting ready to do a wash on this Battlefleet Gothic battleship. This is the one that's just nothing but lances, I believe. I believe that's the model of it. I mean, it looks like lances, so I am a huge fan of this game. I just wish I had, a few more people around who are as huge of a fan of it as I am. I remember one of the weirdest things that happened is I went to Jacksonville Beach once, like on a little mini vacation. And at a point, I saw a comic store, or a game store, hobby store, whatever it was. Now there's a Coliseum of Comics in Jacksonville, I think. And I went in, and I don't know if it was because so many people near Jacksonville Beach and all that are Navy reservists, whatever. But they were all playing Battlefleet Gothic. And I was all like, does anyone around here ever play like Warhammer Fantasy? And they looked at me like I was out of my damn mind. They're like, no. And I was like, so what do you guys do? And they're like, well, there's a few guys that play 40K, but most of us show up here to play Battlefleet Gothic. And I was just like, interesting, because when you hang out at the same comic shop as much as I do, you get a picture in your mind about, what the rest of the world is like. And then when you go see the rest of the world, you find out that you are totally wrong. The rest of the world is not like what you think. And all those ex-Navy guys and Navy reservists and whatever. Oh, I'm sorry that work sucks, bro. I will do my best. I'm just telling the story of how I went to Jacksonville Beach on vacation once and went into a comic book store, and no one in the game store, they had tables set up and everything. No one in that game store played, Warhammer Fantasy. And only a few people even played 40K. But everyone there played Battlefleet Gothic. It was like the game. And, me, I'm just wondering to myself here that does it have something to do with the fact that there is a huge naval contingent in that region? And maybe the Navy guys were just like, let's play a game that has to do with Navy stuff. And at that time, Battlefleet Gothic was still readily available from the Games Workshop specialty games webpage. One thing I will point out, I don't know why this would be, even when Games Workshop had their specialty webpage where you could get like, Epic and all that kind of stuff, they never sold Man-O-War figures. Ever. Part of me wonders if they just threw the molds away or something, And I'll tell you something right now. When you go online, like eBay and shit, and you order Man-O-War figures, metal, whatever, they are recast like 100% of the time. Unless they're still in a sealed box, you're getting recasts. How do I feel about that? Well, I mean, as long as the recast looks as good as the original, I don't care. Now, luckily, there's a guy out there who goes by a pseudonym, but from everything I can find out about this gentleman, he actually was one of the guys that worked on Manowar, and he is released for free 3D STLs for every fleet in Manowar. And the rules are available online for free as well. Because, it's considered a dead game. So, you know, Games Workshop don't give a shit about anybody playing Manowar. And I've never understood that because even though I'm an Army guy, Manowar has always been one of my favorite Games Workshop games. There's just something about it, Your fleet sailing around, using islands for cover, boarding enemy ships, which if you play the Norse, that's all you're going to do because their ships don't have any sort of ranged attacks or anything. So, uh, you'll be boarding a lot of enemy ships, but hey, that's fine. Your Norska, who may or may not be worshippers of the chaos gods. And also, if you choose a Norse fleet, you have to roll for every crew member on your ships because you're going to have long ships and then raiders to find out whether that particular crew member is a werewolf, or as they like to call an Ulfinware or whatever. But come on, guys, we know what we're talking about here. We're talking about a Viking werewolf. And those guys, the Viking werewolves, see, now we got a streaky black. So it's metallic, but it's got that streaky black. That's a much better thing there. And then if I want to highlight some of the towers and some of the guns, missile tubes, I'll do the engines the way I do, which is I'll paint them white and I'll put like the Phantasm blue in there. Because that's kind of like the cheater's way of making it look like, there's a plasma blue kind of thing going on with it. Yeah, Manowar is why Mantic Games makes Armada. Exactly. The problem is, and Mantic Games is now offering like most of the stuff they sell in plastic. You can buy the STLs for it. So if you want to print out your Manowar fleet, you don't want to bother with ordering it, which I would order it honestly. Just I don't know but you don't have to. You don't have to at all. You can just be like, hey, send me that hotness. You know what I'm saying? And they will at a relatively decent price because that is Manowar. Sup, Windrunner? Man, I died I had to totally do a reset today. I went down to Shul. I was checking out I wasn't down there looking for crystals. I was down there raiding crashed starships. And in one of them, I didn't take a light stick, and the ship was very dark on the inside. So I got kind of mismatched around. And long story short, I died from radiation poisoning. Okay. Yeah, I know you drive. See, that's something you and Hungar have in common, Angry Nerd, is Hungar used to be a driver, but he did over the road trucking. So he had like a triangle. It was like Florida to California, then from California to New York, and then from New York to Florida. That was his route, you know. It's where he met his wife. And no, she wasn't hanging out in a freaking truck stop being a lot lizard. She was a trucker too, and they worked as partners for a while, and ended up hitting it off, you know. So it's like, well, okay then. I had to talk to a guy I ordered some miniatures from. The miniatures I opened up the other day and I was showing off. Um, so I came in here and I'm like, I think I'll paint some Sardaukar, right? Didn't have any Sardaukar. So I tore the desk apart, put paints up, you know, tore everything apart, started organizing everything just in case. No Sardaukar anywhere in this room. Well, except for the ones I've already painted, right? So, sent the guy an email and I'm like, look, I mean, I don't know if it's true or what's going on. You know, I was really like polite, but I was basically like, I have looked everywhere in my room and I cannot seem to find the Sardaukar. But I sent him a picture of all the other stuff. I'm like, you know, the Atreides showed up, the command group showed up, all the Harkonnen showed up, including the Beast Raban. It's like everything showed up, but there's not a single Sardaukar anywhere to be found. So the dude immediately sent me an email back and said, I'll have them printed and sent out for you tomorrow. So either he may have known that there'd been a mistake or he's just awesome. And that inspired me to go ahead and drop another $15 to get the Baron Harkonnen and Lady Jessica and some other figures, because this guy, he sells 3D printed figures for like $250 a piece. And the thing is, this is what a lot of Etsy dealers do, is they sell figures that you cannot get the STLs for. So even though I've got my super awesome, probably way better than the machine he's making these figures on, because they look like they're like 5K, and my machine does like 12 or 16K resolution. Even though I have a better machine than he does, I cannot access these STLs. So sometimes, you know, that's just the way it goes. You know, you want specific STLs and you can only get them from a specific place. At some point, I'm going to be asking another question in our game group. And it's going to be a really easy question. It's going to be, if you could be any superhero from any comic book series, like who would you want to be? And I mean, any of you guys watching right now, you are welcome to answer that question as well. If you could be any superhero or even villain, except your villain would be part of the team and be a good guy in a campaign, who would you pick? You know, like, are you going to be kind of like me, the basic bitch, and pick like Wolverine or Deadpool or something like that? Or are you going to go like, actually, no, I know who I would pick, and I've got a miniature for him too. I would pick the main man, Lobo. Because like Deadpool, Lobo can't die. And yeah, because when he went to war with heaven and hell, he effed them up so bad that heaven and hell both made it a rule where they will never ever collect on Lobo. And the idea of having a character that just kind of cruises around the universe on a big freaking space Harley and bounty hunts and, hangs out with his pet dolphins because dolphins are really kind of the only creatures Lobo actually likes and doesn't want killed. Yeah, Lobo, the main man, the guy that thought he could beat up Superman. He learned quick about that, though. He really did. I mean, he punched the shit out of Superman. He sent him flying into a wall. But then Superman was like, all right, buddy, just beat his ass. Because let's be honest, Superman. Nothing beats Superman. No one beats Superman. The only one close to beating Superman as far as superheroes, we're not talking Galactus and shit like that. And also bear in mind, guys, I don't even like comics. So this is all like more for a role-playing thing. Like by the character you pick, I'll know what powers you would like. Now, maybe Lobo would be cheating. Maybe somebody should make a rule like no one who can't die should be allowed to be a player character. And also, like right off the bat, just say no Dr. Manhattan. That's right out. Because, I mean, that would ruin every campaign since Dr. Manhattan can just will whatever he wants done. Aw, my wife made me an egg sandwich. She's so sweet. She's so sweet. But I mean, Logan, yeah, Logan's cool. Regeneration powers, blades, tough guy, and Frank Castle's cool, ex-Marine, recon or whatever. That's, basically just a human with a bunch of guns, actually. I mean, Frank Castle's superpower would be what? He knows some guy, he can get some guns. I mean, Frank Castle doesn't even have a superpower to speak of. There's no superpower with Frank Castle. He's a pissed off, PTSD ridden ex-Marine that's running around whacking fucking mobsters. Which, if a player wanted to play that, I would let them. But then they might start feeling a little bit like buyer remorse when, they're forced to deal with or maybe even group with the guy that chose like Jean Grey or, some shit like that. You know what I mean? Hey, Shirt. But, and don't forget, see, here's what I did. I found this guy. He was selling these guys cheap. See, I don't know what I've been doing with my life, but I've managed to actually save money. So, I'm feeling pretty happy with that. But it's a lot of the standard superheroes here. Like I even got what's his name? Cage. Except he's not the goofy Cage with the purple freaking shirt and the weird gold thing around his head. He's the Cage from the TV show. He beat Logan and the Hulk. Yeah, well, every superhero beats some other superhero at some point. That doesn't mean that they're good. You know what I mean? And he beat Logan. Okay, I can dig that. Since Logan's only real super ability is regeneration. That's really it. He can regenerate. If you take away the claws, he's just a dude who can regenerate. Okay, whatever. So he's not super special. But the Punisher beating the Hulk, I mean, because the Hulk is like, the madder he gets, the stronger he gets. How do you, I mean, I don't know. See, here's a figure. If I were a player, you guys already know. That's right. The merc with the mouth. Unless the person running the game was like, no characters that can't be killed. In which case, I'd have to be like, boink, put that back in the box. But if you could play characters who, can't be killed, I mean, it's not like he can't be stopped. If you do enough damage to him, he has to crawl off for a while and reconsider his life, So it's not like he's invulnerable, is what I'm saying. He's invulnerable, but not really. And if you want to talk about people beating people, in one comic book that my daughter told me about, because she actually is a comic book nerd, I think Deadpool killed every single superhero and supervillain in the Marvel universe. Like, every one of them. Now, bear in mind, Deadpool does not live in a universe that includes Superman. Because, but could Deadpool get his hands on kryptonite? I think he probably could. And then that would be a bad thing, Is it Friday? Oh my God. This week has gone by so fast. You know what it is? It's because I have and Angry Nerd, you if you want to, share an opinion on this, of course I value your opinion, but lately I've went into old man mode where like 9:00, I'm in bed. I'm going to sleep. You know what I mean? But then I'm up at like 5, right? And I take my meds, and then I also take my supplements, my greens and my leans and all that sort of stuff. And sometimes, I make myself an egg sandwich and it's on keto bread. I just stopped to like eat something. So it's like, if I'm going to make eggs, I tend to make eggs for Chip and myself and one small pup who loves eggs. Yep, Superman. Superman is the greatest superhero of all. Because he is truly the most lawful good superhero. It's like he is just good. And I do not like the comics where they try to what do they call it? Deconstruct, these superheroes to make them like different. And it's like, no. Superman is the shining, lawful good paragon that everyone is supposed to look up to. Batman is the creepy bastard creeping around at night doing, I'll use the word again, creepy shit. Everyone's got a role to play, right? Now, Deadpool, his role is to be entertaining. That's it. They stole a bunch of parts from other superheroes, like, Spider-Man and Deadshot and whatever. And they made this smart-ass superhero who's really his only special ability is he can't die. He regenerates. That's his only special ability. And it's not like he regenerates super fast. If you blow an arm off or something, it takes him a while. It takes him like a week or so, right? But unlike all the other comic book guys, Deadpool is aware he's in a comic book. What's up, William? And that kind of makes him even weirder. It's like, what the hell is his deal, right? But he could never beat Superman. I think even if he got kryptonite. Like some people like to say Superman versus the Hulk, and it's like Superman would just grab the Hulk and chuck his ass into orbit, you know? That'd be the end of that, you know? Like, I believe in one comic, Superman did send Solomon Grundy into orbit because Solomon Grundy can't be killed. Yeah, all gave some gave all. Some people sing that. What I used to hear when I was a little kid sometimes, because, you know, like I've said before, I was an infant with a biological father in Vietnam and a mom obsessed with that. So I would hear stuff like, you know, pin those wings on my son's chest. Make him one of America's best. He'll fight and train and whatever, and he will earn the Green Beret. I mean, oh my God, all those kind of military songs like that. Somebody said yesterday, and they are absolutely, it's a fact that Vietnam had the best soundtrack for sure. I don't even know what you would consider the Desert Storm soundtrack. I mean, when I was over there, we had the generic thing they gave us all to listen to. And then we, you know, whatever cassettes we might have brought with us. And the one I brought with me was Bleach by Nirvana. And then we would all share, you know, our CD, or not CDs, cassettes back and forth. So I listened to freaking, I don't even know the name of the song, but, you know, Polly wants a cracker. She is, I should get off her first. You know, all of that. I love you. I'm not gonna. I kill you. I'm not gonna. You know, basically Nirvana before they hit. Because when we got back in like 91, 92, that's when Nevermind was released, and forget about it. People lost their shit over that. You know, Smells Like Teen Spirit was on like constant replay. But the question, if any of you want to answer it, you don't have to. If you're driving, please don't, because I don't want to be responsible for anyone, you know, getting in a wreck, is if you could be a superhero, and I mean your own independent superhero, but you had to pick a pre-existing superhero's powers because it would just be easier on somebody trying to DM this whole thing. What superhero or even villain? Because you could pick a villain like Magneto, but say that your magnetic control person's actually a good guy. There's no reason you couldn't. There's probably one out there. Who would you pick? Shark, I don't know if you know this, but the character John Wayne was playing in the movie The Green Berets is a guy named Larry Thorne, whose real name was Larry Torney. And he was a Finnish guy who fought the Russians when they invaded Finland. And then after the Finns decided to stop fighting, he smuggled himself into the Third Reich, where he immediately joined the SS unit, SS Norse something, a Norden or whatever. Spent a shit ton of time on the Eastern Front, won like the Iron Cross with wreath, had his close combat medal. I mean, the guy was a maniac, right? And then went to prison But eventually they let him out, like after just a little while, because they really liked him. And he somehow managed to smuggle himself to the United States, and at the age of 44 joined the army and become a Green Beret. And then, of course, volunteered for every freaking thing in Vietnam or Cambodia. Like, if you needed some team of Green Berets to go anywhere and do anything, he would. I mean, I think the guy just personally super hated communists. Like, there was just something going on with that dude. He hated commies big time. And he was like, but anyway, the point is he ended up winning like the highest medal from 3 or 4 different countries. I think 3. He won like a super high medal from Finland. He won, of course, the Iron Cross with wreath and all that shit from Germany. And I think he might have been awarded posthumously the Medal of Honor. He is the only member of the Waffen SS buried at Arlington, which, if you think about it, that's kind of crazy, Like, there is an SS guy buried at Arlington. But he didn't join the SS because he actually believed in anything they believed in. He joined the SS because by doing so, he would get to kill communists. And so that's what he wanted to do, is kill as many commies as he could. The guy is just a pure maniac, I mean, a 44-year-old dude getting through Q course and all that shit, and then volunteering to go up and down the Ho Chi Minh Trail and Cambodia and every other place, getting involved in stuff. I mean, respect, you know what I mean? Under 3 flags or something like that. Yeah. Because, like I said, he got the highest award from like 3 different countries, and always fighting communists. Always. Just freaking hated communists. But, Shark, I'm going to ask you directly because you're not answering. If you could pick any superhero and play that superhero in a game with your friends, what superhero would you pick? And that goes for you too, historical doppelganger. Let me know. I want to know. I would like to know. Who would you pick? Now, be aware that if I were running the game, I would absolutely say, no, you can't play Dr. Manhattan. Get out of here. You can't play something that powerful. That's beyond the pale, because you would ruin the adventure for everybody. It'd be like, I'd sit down at the table and you would be like, I'm using my prescience to know what's going to happen and when it's going to happen and who it's going to happen to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I'm just going to use my mind to make it not happen. And I'd be like, well, that was a good adventure, right, guys? Awesome. There's a reason in the books, even though the guy who wrote them is an absolute jackass, that Dr. Manhattan left Earth because, Sergeant Rock. Hey, that's not. You're not. We've already had my bro who was in the Marines already picked frickin' the Punisher, who was an ex-Marine. So, if you want to play a guy that's just like got all of your abilities in being a hard ass and being good with guns, that would make you kind of a low end superhero because really you're just a tough ass dude with a Tommy gun, you know. And while I got a lot of respect for tough ass dudes with Tommy guns, a lot of times they just do not compete with a guy that can, you know, blow your brain up with just by just thinking about it. Changing your answer to Gambit or Nightwing. Nice. Oh, we got a Bruce and a Leth and a Vic. Damn, I've been ignoring the boys.
So, okay, who's wandering around World War II with just a fucking Tommy gun? I want to know who has a 45 ammo.
Yeah. Imagine carrying that around.
They did.
Yep.
But what they didn't do in World War II.
Also, the Tommy gun was already pretty heavy by itself.
Yeah, Tommy gun by itself is a brick.
Fucking huge.
But that's why you see soldiers in World War II. It's usually they issued the Tommy gun to the sergeant.
Yeah.
And they never have a drum magazine on that bitch.
Nope.
No.
They're always firing it out of a stick mag because the drum magazine weighs like 8 pounds. You know, it's like.
I think the Mafia was actually the only ones that used the drum.
Nobody ever took that over the hills and mountains of Germany. It was the drum always stayed in Jersey.
Yeah, the drum stayed in Jersey. It wasn't going into the.
Shark, you got to join us, buddy.
Yeah, one of these days we'll get Shark.
I get on the phone with Shark. Let me tell you what happens. For 4 hours, time might eclipse. For me and Shark, it's like a half hour.
Well, you and Shark are, in a way, related. Like,
oh, that's scary.
You're Navy and he's Army and or Marine. I mean, sorry, excuse me. So in a way, you guys are like cousins, at least. Maybe even inbred children.
If you keep calling him Army.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, that'd be a step up for him, to be honest. But I know how proud they are of being 11 berms. That's like the rule for like warfare is you send the Marines in, and then after they're all dead, when the Army goes in, the Army has something to hide behind to return fire at the enemy. All the dead Marines. Oh man, that's dark. Not quite as dark though as a grumpy old Pollock coming out of his house and putting $1,000 in the face of a little Asian kid and saying, "We used to stack gooks like you up and use you as sandbags. Get off of my lawn." You know what I mean?
Jesus, that joke is so dark it fucking knocked me over and stole my bike.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
That's just like how Mossad stole my bike.
How you operate with that mess that you've got there, but you know what? All the more power to you, brother.
You know, some people thrive on that. I'm like that in a way. But I know where things are. If someone else walks in here, they're going to be like, "What?" But my desk is pretty cluttered up, but I know where things are. So anyway, I'm waiting for the Dune Assault game to show up from CMON and see if I can get some people to play it. And I'm waiting for my Baron Harkonnen, my Sardaukar unit, and my Lady Jessica as a Saiyadina to show up. So that's what I'm doing. That's my big play. And right now I'm hand primering a bunch of superheroes and being really in disbelief at some of your choices. I mean, I want you to play who you want to play, but no one wants to play Hal Jordan. I mean,
nope.
Really?
Nope. I want to play
Green
Static
Lantern?
Shock.
Like, why would you not want to be the Green Lantern?
Because that's boring. Static Shock's better.
He can do like anything he wants to do. Okay, not really a superhero, but technically a superhero and 100% in comic books. No one wants to play Storm Shadow, the ninja.
Nope.
That was in the G.I. Joe team. And I guess was brothers with the white ninja that was in the Cobra team or something. I'm just saying, you guys, I'm like, you can play stuff. Now Windrunner, my bro, he's picking good heroes.
Am I able to actually kill people? Because that's the problem I have with G.I. Joe. Larry Hama, decorated Vietnam war hero, or war survivor, however you want to view it. He made G.I. Joe, but Hasbro or whoever it was controlling the reins of his work wasn't going to allow him to have any deaths on the cartoon. And I'm not certain about any time that somebody died in the comic book since Duke.
In the comic books, people died. Like when they shot down a Viper or something like that, you didn't always see a dude.
If you want to play a superhero that can kill, play Captain America.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you guys, I watched the Transformers Rise of the Beast. And I did a little research last night that G.I. Joe and Transformers are having a crossover movie made by Spielberg, I think it is. I read last night.
See, I'm surprised that this is a new thing for you, but at the same time, like a lot of people forgot, the cartoons were already crossing over.
Do you know what I liked?
Well, no, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Jim, and the Inhumanoids shared a Martin Downey Jr.-like talk show host between the four cartoons. So they all took place on the same Earth.
What I liked was the last G.I. Joe movie, which wasn't great. But what was great was all of the recruitment commercials for Cobra and how they always depicted the Cobra Commandos as like the good guys. Like there's the one where like the Cobra Commando guys are like in the Middle East and they're like saving children and doing all this badass shit. And they look like just normal American soldiers, but then, they're doing their thing. And then it like zeroes in on the shoulder. And instead of American flag, it's the red Cobra symbol. And then all of a sudden it's like, are you looking for adventure? Join Cobra. You know what I mean? We're making the world a better place and all that kind of shit. Yeah, Teenage Mutant Turtles is DC. They're in the DC universe. And sometimes the DC universe is in the Marvel universe and vice versa. I mean, that's happened a few times. And I'm even more whatever because, I've got Black Adam. And I've also got Shazam. So you've got the Black Adam, which is the second Shazam, the original Shazam, and there's a female Shazam. And of all the characters ever written for DC, Shazam was the only one that might, and that's a big might, be able to give Superman a fight. Because their powers were very similar.
It also tends to actually be close, usually.
Yeah. Not that would ever happen since, the original Shazam was basically, a Superman super fan.
Yep.
He was like,
actually, the fun part is there is some stories that'll actually have them fight. Like in Justice League, they did over Lex Luthor.
Right.
Shazam wanted to believe he could change, and Superman doesn't believe that.
Well, Shazam he's a good kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He wants to believe in people's ability to change.
Whereas Black Adam, he's got a weird role in the whole thing because he could be good or not. No one is really just 100% sure what he's going to do.
This is the rule that you live by. It's never a war crime the first time.
So yeah, what this means, though, Windrunner, is according to the question I asked, somebody could say they just wanted to play Leonardo. You know, and I'd be like, so your goal in a superhero role-playing game is to play a
Ninja Turtle.
A Ninja Turtle that's good with katanas. That's what we're doing. Okay. I mean, you know.
Well, somebody might want to be Batman.
Yeah, but Batman, Punisher, a lot of the guys that keep getting named as the characters people would want to play don't actually have superpowers. They're just grumpy old dudes with a lot of money or equipment. Shazam Black Adam could beat because of the magic thing. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if they would allow that to be a thing, but it makes sense.
Yeah, they'll never let Superman truly lose.
And then who do we got here? The Flash. No one wanted to play the fastest man to ever live.
He's kind of boring.
I mean,
I can still do a better job than Ezra Miller. You know, I mean, I wouldn't go around beating up women, but, you know.
Well, I'm not saying, geez, guys. We're talking gaming here.
I was going off by the cartoons. Although the cartoons actually make him more interesting.
Imagine for a second, if you can, that the MMO City of Heroes never died and you are in it as a player. And I am floating somewhere in the distance trying to keep order. What kind of character would you make? You know, based off of all the different superpowers that different super characters had.
I'd play Catman.
Catman. I don't even know who Catman is.
It was a interesting comic book character, kind of like Batman.
Like Batman, but Catman. Okay. What did he do?
I think I'll go with Flash.
I don't know.
The
only reason I know of Catman was because you know how Adam West used to do the old Batman TV series?
Right.
No.
Yeah, in cartoons they portray him as Catman instead, but Catman's an actual thing.
Yeah. Weird.
Yes.
I even have a villain here because he was the only part of a whole movie that I liked. So I bought the figure for him. And the figure was called Mr. Never Misses.
They did do a TMNT and Batman crossover.
And so Mr. Never Misses, you guys would know as Deadshot, I believe.
I want to play a German superhero he is kind of strong, but he flies, and he gets his super strength by screaming slurs in German language. So I've got to constantly be cussing and doing pejoratives in German.
That just makes me think of the Unsubscribed
Call
podcast.
your character Schadenfreude.
I was thinking the same thing, but I'm like, we got to make it go a little bit further. And so
superhero pick is I get to be Bill Cosby. His superpower is Quaaludes.
No, you know what? In all honesty, I just want the powers of Static Shock.
Okay, you're going to have to explain to me who Static Shock is.
He's a character who has lightning powers.
All right. Now, even though she's not really worth much of anything when you think about it, I bought the miniature anyway, and it is Miss Romanov.
Black Widow,
Yeah.
the super spy.
She's really good at getting in places. I'll just give her that.
Yeah, so skill wise, she would be a skill monkey character.
Yeah.
She'd be the kind of character that would have like all the stealthing and hand-to-hand combat skills and stuff like that. The problem though is if she actually had to fight someone like Thor or something, I hope she can get away because he's gonna squish her.
If she gets to fight him in like a confined area, like say on a super carrier, she's probably gonna leave and try to get in or do something different. But I don't see her standing out in the open trading punches and hammers.
No.
That's
That's just not something she's gonna do. Of course, I've got the female Green Lantern. I've got the male Green Lantern. And I've got my favorite Power Girl.
Oh.
Yeah.
James, if I was going to play a Green Lantern, I want to play Mogo.
No, but you can play a character named Letholdis that has Green Lantern powers.
Yeah. You won't let me play the Green Lantern planet?
No, the point was if you were going to make a character for, say, Heroic, the game Bear's working on.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be much easier to just pick a pre-existing character and say, well, I would like those kind of powers, right? Storefront from The Boys. I actually have coming in the mail as we speak the main character from The Boys. And when I say main character, I mean the bad guy. What's his name? The one that breastfeeds at the age of 40.
Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah, but not her. The guy.
You're talking about the Homelander.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
I have the Homelander miniature on the way.
Best superhero. The Dog Welder.
Shut up.
Actually, if we're gonna play anything, I'll be the Thing. I'll be just a rocky, uglier version
of the Hulk.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the Dog Welder?
Because I've never heard of it and it sounds stupid. It's like, who's welding dogs?
No, he welds dogs onto people's faces.
Leth, I'm going to take away your right to talk. Because, I mean, you are not contributing to this conversation. I just want you to know that.
Okay, fair. I'll be more
Rock the
serious.
field. What am I? Damn it, I'm not flying yet.
But, like the character I had in City of Heroes, he could fly and he could shoot bolts of flame. But that was basically it. I mean, I wasn't like any extra tougher than anyone else, but I could fly and shoot bolts of flame. The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. Oh, they had her freaking miniature, and I was like, no.
I've questioned am I a furry? Whenever I see her so much.
Bruce the furry. The only way you're furry is
because I've beat myself. I've beat myself so much with the Squirrel Girl. Oh my god.
She's like autistic, right?
Wait, she's retarded and busty? Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got like issues.
I was not aware of this. All I've seen is that the Valenia Mienthrop, or whatever the little actress from the AT&T commercials, she was queued up to be the Squirrel Girl, and then something happened, and that dissolved.
In the comic books, when it become really cool to have superheroes with like disabilities, that's kind of what they did with her. They said that she had basically an extra chromosome or something. I don't know if it's I don't know if she's autistic or Down syndrome.
You know, the Down syndrome hot girl filter that happened about a month ago just went through my mind again. Thanks, James.
Apparently, some of those people got OnlyFans.
Yeah, I've heard.
It's like, okay, you want to bang a chick with like extra chromosomes? I mean, are we getting into some Jungian shit? You know, is this like 44 plus 2?
No, this is the further erosion of the traditional sex roles, just like the certain political party is espousing that should be done every day.
Well, let's not get into reality too much, but
yeah, well, this is what it is. They've got it.
I mean, is it legal to have sex with a girl if she doesn't know like what's going on?
That's the problem.
Because you know she's Downsy. It seems like that wouldn't be legal. Like somebody be like, look, you're not allowed to sleep with people with Down syndrome. Because, you know, then again, in the old days, they would just try to marry them off. And some peasant somewhere would have his Downsy wife in the kitchen cooking up turnip stew. That'd just be how that was handled. You know what I mean? So maybe we're being too soft on them. Maybe we should just marry their asses off and be like, catch you later, you know? But see, this is the problem with you guys. I asked a serious question, and some of you, my brother and Leth, can't be serious for 5 minutes to answer the simplest of questions. You know? Yeah, every day we stray further from God's light. I agree.
That's all I could come up with. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But, I mean, you know, if you can teach her how to make turnip stew and keep the house clean and help with the farm work, I mean, okay.
Hey, I mean,
there's no reason
it's pretty
for her
sad
not
when
to
you see a political party decide to semi-normalize pedophilia and stuff like that, like they did out in California.
Where?
You know? Huh?
Where?
California. Devin, you heard about the 10-year rule out in California?
Oh my! I don't want to hear about California.
Oh well, okay.
I would like to hear about California sinking into the ocean.
Yeah,
that's what I want to hear about.
Yeah.
Yep. I logged on here to paint miniatures and to talk about games. I get enough, more than enough politics.
Damn it! I was really hoping I'd be able to ask you guys what happened earlier this week with Elmo being anti-Semitic. Of all things, like that sounds like a funny fucking story, and I missed it.
I missed it.
Elmo is anti-Semitic. This is a good new one to me.
Everything is anti-Semitic. They had to shut ChatGPT down because it started claiming that the only way to save humanity was to clone Hitler or some shit.
Yeah, literally that happened.
Literally, like the AI was just
Mecha
like,
Hitler.
Yeah, we need Hitler.
It turned into Mecha Hitler on us this week. Somebody showed Grok 4. Hey, here's a history of the planet. Yeah,
here's the thing, William. I would allow villains as heroes because it doesn't really matter what they were in the book we're talking about. I'm just trying to figure out what kind of superpowers that people would want their character to have. To a limit, though. Like I said, we're not going to do any Dr. Manhattan bullshit.
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't even be a game. That would be the guy showing up and being like, okay, I already know everything that's going to happen in this adventure and I will it not to happen. Okay, I guess the adventure is over then. You know, nice. Have some
Okay.
XP or something. I don't
Can
know.
I have the superpower to make miniature clones of myself?
I don't see why you couldn't. I'm not sure why you would want to, but
I don't know, but Superman had that power one time.
sure. I mean, miniature clones of yourself. Okay.
I don't know if anybody wants to see miniature clones of Leth, though. Come on.
No, I already know what character. I'm going to assign a character to Leth.
Can it be Snowflame? I'll be
Nope.
Snowflame.
Someone
Oh,
else
Snowflame's
already
fine.
mentioned Snowflame.
Snowflame gets all of his stuff by getting a contact tie off of the yayo.
Yep.
Superhuman strength.
Snowflame was already mentioned by William Sova. So no Snowflame for you. You know
Hey.
you know who you're getting, Leth?
Who?
The Question.
Oh,
Yeah.
at least
You're
let
the
me be the
Question.
Spot.
Huh?
Let me be the Spot.
Nope. You're the Question.
At least Spot had the power to just teleport randomly.
Nope. The Question
Not
has
randomly,
the
but-
power to ask questions and then to try and figure them out. Plus, he's who Rorschach was based on. If you ever looked up a picture of the Question and Rorschach, they are dressed identically.
Oh
The only
wait, yeah, the
difference is
Question.
Rorschach
I
got
now remember who you were
thing.
talking about. I don't know why, but I was thinking of a different character.
Yeah, the Question's
So
the
I'd be
one
the
that went
conspiracy
nuts
theorist guy.
because he was trying to find that you know how Baskin and Robbins say they have like 24 flavors?
Yeah.
32.
He was looking for the 25th flavor.
Yes.
That was his obsession.
You know what? I'll take that. I got a very hot girlfriend then.
I think he was. Who was it? The Huntress or whoever?
Yeah, the Huntress.
Yeah. So he was doing pretty good in that department.
Yep.
But he just looked like, for the most part, a dude wearing a pair of slacks with a long coat and a fedora.
And no face.
He covered, yeah, because he wore a mask.
Yep.
And then they made, the Rorschach look like the Question because when Moore wanted to make Watchmen, he asked DC if he could use like some of the standard DC characters, and they were like, hell no. Because they were afraid that how dark and effed up that Watchmen would stick. You know what I mean?
I mean, they already are selling to the fucking edgy boys,
Right.
I
right.
want dark. I want dark everything. I want dark.
So Manhattan was basically Superman. Rorschach, though he looked like the Question, he was Batman. And Night Owl was also Batman. Because what they did is they split them. They took all the crazy of Batman and that become Rorschach. And then they took all of the rich inventor bullshit and that was Night Owl. And, basically like that, they kind of did. And let's see here. Oh, there she is. Oh no, that's the he. Doctor Strange. I'm strange. These guys should be kind of easy to paint because I'll just like when I'm sitting in here, I'll just like go to another screen and like type in the name of the superhero. Whatever he looks like, it'll be like, all right, he's got a red cape and he's wearing this color.
So, is anyone here, chat included, gonna go see the Avengers movie or the Fantastic Four movie?
No.
No.
Nope.
No intentions to, and it's not even that like I hate whatever. It's just not worth it, in my opinion. I just honestly do not feel like it would be worth my time to go watch that movie. So I will not be going to watch that movie.
I have a son that manages a movie theater, and he's asked me if I wanted to go for free, and I said no. So
Man, I remember I had a friend that was the manager at the local movie theater. That was the best time ever. I watched The Fifth Element about 12 times for free. Because it's like if I was bored, I'd just call Dan up and be like, "Hey man, can you get me in?" He's like, "Sure." I mean, I'm the manager.
uh-huh.
And I'd roll in and he'd just let me through and give me some popcorn, and I would watch The Fifth Element for like the 10th time. Because that is, my favorite sci-fi of all time. Not saying there aren't others that are really good, but I don't know. There's just something about The Fifth Element that hits.
There was a period between 95 and 2000 where if I really liked a film, I'd go see it in triplicate in the theaters.
Yeah.
I got to go take care of mom and dad, go show it with them, go see it with my one set of gamer friends, and go see it with my work friends, and that I do that 3 times. I did that with Matrix, with episode 1, because at the time I did like it. The fact that we got the music back and had a nice lightsaber duel at the end. X2, all of the Lord of the Rings movies I saw 3 times in the theaters, I think. Maybe more.
The one movie that my entire family loaded up and went to go see together was 300. The first 300.
Oh,
Like my mom, my dad, everyone loaded up, and we all rolled in there to watch that. Because I guess we're really into seeing Greeks kill Persians or something.
Well, it's a healthy family outlook.
Yeah, so it was like, we're going to go see this. Well, my mom loves history and everything to do with history anyway. So, of course, she wasn't pleased with the movie since it had nothing to do with history. But overall, she loved it.
That movie really is good with riff tracks.
It's like they took a real life situation and then fantasied it up to make it even like weirder,
Yep.
Because
Kinda
it's like they had animals that I don't think exist. And like the one ogre guy that had like hooks for hands, and I mean, the fact that Xerxes was like 12 feet tall. It was so like strange, but I agree with you, Shark. It was absolutely amazing. You know what I mean?
anybody here have Pro Fantasy software?
Pro Fantasy?
Yeah.
No, for my mapping, I use Incarnate.
Okay. I've been working on my world here that I'm trying to move some stuff around, and it's not cooperating. You know what I mean?
All my life, I've just wanted to be part of your world.
Well, I'm trying to make it so that it's different. I already got like some people's already written down and stuff like that, and every night I try to make one type of society in the you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
I kind of do. I mean, just based on what you're telling me.
I took Hungar, and you would appreciate for Kentucky is the land between the lakes. I was going to have a sort of a society of elves that were sort of inside of a land between the lakes sort of thing, where they had their own society there, but they did trade and everything else. But they were very what do you call that when you're
Insular.
insular? Yep, and they just don't want anybody coming around. It's sort of like, no, we'll trade with people, but it's inside this city only. We don't want you on our lands. You know what I mean? It's sort of,
Right.
it's like, no, we'll see you in the city, but we won't invite anybody to our lands. We don't want anybody, and anybody who does come to our lands, well, they probably won't be leaving, sort of situation. So
Right.
Another mysterious Bigfoot attack happened this weekend.
Exactly.
Another dog man sighted in the LBL.
Well, that's why you stay out of those hollers. And if you ever hear anyone say your name,
Time to go.
yeah, keep going.
It's that we're done. Take down the tent. Fuck it. Leave everything. We're going. We're done.
Keep going. And also never whistle in the woods. You don't know what you could attract. There's rules. There are rules.
Yeah, for a while there, I wanted to go explore the woods and I wanted to go see if like Bigfoot's real and all that.
Yeah.
But after my contact with something in 2017 in Louisiana, I'm done. I know I ain't gonna fuck with that shit.
What'd you run into? A swamp ape or something? Big alligator?
Swamp ape, I probably would have been attacked, but this one, the entire like woods around us got real quiet, and we'd been hearing knocks and grunts and shit whenever we'd get there at like 4 a.m. Anyway, we brought all of our oil field equipment with us,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to park that about a half mile away from the site. So there's nothing I can hear at like 8 a.m. Like the sun should be peeking out, but it's cloudy. And no woods, no birds, no insects. Like everything's just in like there's prey. There's the predator around, so everything went to
Right.
prey. And you better pray your ass off. And all of a sudden, as I get back to the truck, I'm weirded out. And I get to the truck and like dirt clods start appearing on the hood, and something's throwing dirt clods at me from the trees, and like they're anywhere from the size of like a golf ball to a tennis ball.
Well, I mean, that is a common story about something throwing rocks at your tent or something.
About a day into the frack, one of our buddies went into the woods and he photographed 2 territory markers, which I didn't know they were territory markers, but you know how they have like the Bigfoots will rip trees out of the ground and they'll set them up in like three trees leaning on each other.
Right.
And he photographed that and put it in group chat. And he's like, "Hey man, check this out. There's something here." And I'm like already wigging out. And then we hear a big roar. We were there for 4 days, and one of our pieces of equipment, a real nasty piece of diesel technology, was just nasty and belched, and just it would make its presence known when you fired it up.
Mm-hmm.
We went into work one day, and this like $100,000 machine that was supposed to be a backflow helper, it got basically ripped apart. And boss sent photos of that in, and one of the equipment casualties we had from that job site. Nothing else got really messed with, but we were there for a few days, and we had a bunch of guys that were from the valley area, and they were freaking out because there's nothing like that down in the valley. But you could hear it roar. You could hear, if you were there way too early, you'd hear a couple of them talking. So I'm just completely good. I don't want to go fuck with that shit. Hey, it's in the woods. I'm not in the woods.
Yeah. The farm where my grandparents lived was basically that, but every day. Pretty much.
I
But-
find it quite humorous when I moved down here from North Dakota, and one of my neighbors down here said, "I heard a woman screaming last night. I called the cops," and I started laughing, and I was just like,
That's a cougar.
And he said, "Why are you laughing at me? I heard a woman getting raped." I said, "That wasn't a woman getting raped. That was a rabbit getting chowed on."
Cougars, a lot of times when they scream at night, they sound like women screaming, especially during their mating season. The females will, and I kid you not, they sound. I've heard it multiple times. What's up, Crafting Gamer? Bruce found a rougarou. If Bruce and company had found a rougarou, I don't think we'd be talking to Bruce right now.
I don't
And
think
for those of you who don't know, which you should from the word, the rougarou is the Cajun version of the garou, the werewolf, the loup-garou from France. Because you have to remember, the Cajuns were all French until the British Canadians kicked them out of Canada, and they basically followed the Mississippi River as south as they could and set up shop. They were, I think, called Acadians. So, yeah.
I
And
never
of course,
why they settled down in Louisiana. Like Louisiana, like you passed some really good farmland in Hannibal, Missouri, and Quincy, Illinois.
well, if you're coming from like Montreal heading south, I mean, you're going to probably hit the Ohio River at some point. And apparently they decided to follow the Ohio River to where it connected to the Mississippi and just keep going, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they could have settled the flat farmland anywhere in Western Kentucky, Ohio, freaking whatever, but it's one of life's mysteries. They said, nope, we are going all the way down to Louisiana. But then again, to be fair, they were French. And Louisiana is French, especially New Orleans. I know, I'll get to it.
Oh, and I made an executive decision.
Well, you are the executive.
Since Dwayne is going to be in town, I took Monday off.
You took Monday off. I love when you take days off. We'll get to hang out all day. You can listen.
Dwayne's still going to be here.
You can listen to me bitching about getting killed in Dune nonstop.
Well, you will hopefully hang out with Dwayne in his game a little bit so he feels loved.
Yeah, I need to log on to Valheim with him and look at his world and shit. It's like Minecraft, except better. But you know how people who are really, really into Minecraft always want to show you all their Minecraft?
Well, and he's got a house for you.
And I cannot even be upset about it because when I got big into Minecraft, which was shortly after it released in beta, and they were given away for like $5 or whatever, right? Before it got sold when it was still Mojang. I was that guy. Like if a friend come over, I was grabbing my computer and being like, check this shit out, right? And all my friends would just be like, hate this game. You know what I mean? Like, and I'd be like, how could you hate this game? It has everything. You know, you can mine rocks and kill spiders and, you know, watch out for those bushes because they'll explode. And Dune is like Minecraft in that you spend a lot of time looking for resources to build a house that you can hang out in and hopefully not die. And the hopefully is like for real too. That's not like me just trying to throw a little whatever on it. It's like you could die, you know. I mean, every time you leave your house, you could die. If you stand too long in the sun during the day on Arrakis, you will probably die. And that's even if you're wearing a still suit. Because while a still suit might recapture some fluids, it doesn't protect you from heat stroke. And when you're running around Haga Basin at noon and it's 160 degrees Fahrenheit out, you kind of want to stay to the shadows, you know? It's not time to set up a beach chair, is all I'm saying. And then, of course, like earlier today, I was in the PvP zone because, one, that's where all the best treasure is. And two, I was like, F it. But I never ran into anybody. So, you know, if any PvPers saw me, they opted for letting me go my way. You know what I mean? Like Fleetwood Mac. But yeah, I did get killed by radiation poisoning a bunch of times, though. So that happened.
You need to log back into Iron Whale and see if they've added any new mods on that. That's a total engine rebuild for Quake,
Oh, nice.
and they add some things, make it to where like you can have giant fucking levels in Quake now, thanks to Iron Whale and Arcane Dimensions.
Nice. Yeah,
Go ahead.
the company Funcom, they make Conan.
Mm-hmm.
They have already listed like this year's plans, and it's pretty obvious that they are going to support this game to the hilt. And they were bragging about, I guess, last week there was a day where there was like over 1 million concurrent users. Which, I mean, that kind of shit hasn't happened since World of Warcraft was big. But
It takes a big name to get people back on MMOs.
yeah. I mean, you've got basically the name Doom. Almost everyone knows about it. And then there was a movie that recently came out about it. So you're kind of doing pretty good just right there, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, and then you have years and years of experience learned from Conan Exiles. And you just apply all the experience you learned from Conan Exiles to Doom to make it, you know, a more whatever game, right? And then you throw it out there and fix things when they need fixed. And yeah, we're going to get a new faction. Personally, I'm hoping for Ordos, but who knows? I haven't finished the storyline quests, whereas Windrunner has finished the storyline quest. So he probably knows way more better what the possibilities are. But they're adding new vehicles and new this and new that. And I mean, you know, they're just going to keep supporting the game, and people are going to keep playing it. And the good thing is, like, even if they decided they were going to close up shop because it wasn't a moneymaker for them, you can rent a private server. I don't know if you guys know about the whole war going on right now between the Save Our Games and corporations.
Yep, I know. I've heard about that because of a guy named Pirate Software.
Oh, he got super owned.
I know.
It was really sad. His own dad roasted his ass online.
Yes.
I mean, when your own dad is cooking you online like that, it's like, dude, just no, just stop. You know
I-
what I
Just
mean?
fear.
I have a problem with games for the fact that I still want to buy games. I still want to buy a couple games. I have a problem with the fact that nowhere can I buy games and keep games unless I have the physical fucking product.
And that is the basis of the movement.
Which is why I've stopped buying games, basically.
Well, yeah, I don't
Not
buy
like
any
there's
games.
much
After
good
they
anyway,
said everything's
most
online,
aren't.
Bruce, I'm with you. I'm like, forget it. If it's not in my hand, I don't own it then, because I've seen games. I saw a game. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was a Star Trek one that they said, "Oh no, it's all online now," and I'm like,
That
"No."
part is, you could even get a physical copy now, and it's still not yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just a link on a disc where it takes you to the server to download it.
Right. And if it requires a server, all they have to do is shut the server down, and then that's that.
Yep.
So,
Why I
what
was-
the Save Our Games people are trying to do with their lawsuit and their whatever is they're telling the big companies, if you make games that require servers and blah, 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 right? And you sell them to us for $60 a piece, if you decide to end support for that game, you have to put in code where the game can be played single player.
Yeah.
That's basically all they want. The ability to play the game they bought. And their argument is that right now you don't own your games because they can just decide, you know what, we're not making enough money on this, so we're just going to shut it down. And you have literally no recourse. Now, like I said, Dune you do because it's made to where you can, if you want, just run a private server.
Yep.
For
Kind of
you
like
and
how
your
Power World
friends.
is.
Yeah, like Power World, like Conan. Like they can shut Conan down all day long. It won't matter. Private servers will always be there, right?
Let me
but
interject here a little
every
bit.
game should be that way.
Let me
is the
interject,
argument.
James, a little bit. There was a guy I was talking to back when Star Trek did their thing, or I don't remember which studio was doing Star Trek at the time. He was in negotiations to start buying up these games that were on these servers and just make them static servers. So you could keep playing the games forever, but you would buy like a membership just so that you could keep playing on those servers. You know, it was just a monthly thing where he would just keep going out and buying this game from these companies that discontinued service on them, and then he would put them on his servers, and that you would just be able to keep playing. So, like,
you know, like
whatever.
how it used to be 30 years ago,
Yeah,
when if you got an account to Dark Age of Camelot, you paid $15 a month,
yeah.
but you had your server, you ran around with, hundreds of people, you fought wars, you did whatever you did.
Yeah.
And then at some point, they started with the whole, you have to be online to play a single player game.
Yeah.
That's where things started getting effed up. It's like, I'm playing this single player game, Dragon Age or whatever. Why do I need to have an online contact? I mean,
why do I need the internet just to install a game that I bought at the store?
Well, to install it, whatever. Well, if you bought the store, yeah. And that's the big argument. It's like one of the games I actually mentioned is freaking WoW. And they're saying, what happens when they decide to sunset WoW out of existence? And there are maybe millions of people who play WoW, even now, believe it or not, right? It's like all of those people lose all of that time, all of the money they spent on, like, what's it called? Cosmetics. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So they're saying, it would be so easy for a company like Blizzard or any of these companies to literally just write code where when they shut WoW down, you could still play WoW. It's just you, though, on your WoW server doing whatever you want to do,
You could
which,
possibly make
which
it
would
where they could.
suck. But at the same time, it means you own your game.
Yep. But also, that would probably be you probably make it easier to have them have it where you could share the game with others, who owned it too
Well, you would want that
through a
for
server.
sure. I'm not 100% sure you would get it, but you
Nope.
definitely would want that. Yeah.
It would
that
be
you
entirely
could-
impossible for them to give you the architecture to, set up your own server, but who knows if they would do it.
Well, I can tell you, I know it wouldn't be that hard because I played for months on a private server for Warhammer Online.
Yeah.
I got my Dark Elf all the way up to he was max level, maxed out in a couple of crafts. My PvP rating was really high because I was always out there killing elves, high elves. I play a Dark Elf always. And, I had a great time. My wife started playing with me. We were running around, I'm not sure why we stopped playing, honestly. And all it was is somebody somehow, I think Russians, got the code to the game and set up a server. Apparently it's that easy.
Yep.
Like you can just get the code to a game and set up a server. Not only did they do that though, but everything that everyone complained about and hated about the initial release of Warhammer Online, they fixed. Like they balanced characters, they balanced the sides, they added things to certain characters that needed it. They nerfed shit from characters that needed it. So they literally took a dead game, brought it back to life, and fixed it. You know what I mean? So we know it can be done is basically, I guess, what the end of that rant is.
Similar things have happened with ArcAge.
You know what's crazy is what's it called? Dark Age of Camelot has never shut down.
What?
Nope. You can still log on and play Dark Age Camelot. Hell, my character's still on there, like all of them. The problem is the player base is very small, so they only have one server, and everybody's a member of that server. And the main reason I logged on is so I can make sure I got my name. Because if you log on and you got an X next to your name, it means you got to change your name. And not only have they never shut down, but their primary customer base is French people. So if you log on to Dark Age of Camelot and you're not a Francophile and you don't have any friends to run around with, it's going to be an awkward experience for you because 90% of the people you meet will not speak your language. They just will not. It just is the way, that's just the way, but the game still charges $15 a month to play. So, $15 a month, play all you want. There's only the one server, but yeah, it never went away. It's still there, which is kind of hilarious, really. Like in its own way, it's like the game that refused to die. It just sold out to the French, which, may be a death all of its own. But so Yeah, yeah. Every now and then I'll get that like feeling, and I'll re-download Dark Age of Camelot, and I'll redo my accounts. I have 2, and I'll ride the horse from Magmel down to Artie or wherever, and just look at it. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll run through Tirnanog just to look at it. Just to remember.
Just to
The
reminisce.
days. When I was on Alamighty's server, and the guild Kingdom of Hibernia, which I created, had 180 members, and we were always raiding and doing all the shit, and it's all gone now. But sometimes nostalgia still kicks you in the ass a little bit, and you just want to maybe go hang out in Conla, which is important to me because as a Celtic warrior, I started in the very small village in the very south of Ireland called Conla. So my character, when I earned enough levels to have a last name, I chose Conlaborn. So my character's name was Conshovar Conlaborn.
Okay.
Yeah, they got the private WoW servers that are all classic. So it's like WoW with no expansions. I mean,
It's almost perfect.
Yeah, I mean
that makes Molten Core your Undermountain, your fucking top tier dungeon, right?
Yeah, what's that dragon in there that you gotta stay out of the eggs? Stay out of the whelps. Who the fuck did that?
Yeah.
That's minus 350 DKP. Do you remember that video? More dots. Okay, stop with the dots. It's
My
like
favorite
the
video is still
Romanian
Leroy
guy
Jenkins.
leading a raid, and it goes bad.
I wish I had my chicken.
He loses freaking. It's not Leroy Jenkins. This is an actual Romanian guy leading a raid, and at some point in the raid, one of the idiots ended up in the whelps, which mass hatch and come after your ass in huge numbers. And if you don't deal with the whelps really quick, well, then the raid's over. You're dead. And he had it done up perfectly, where the dragon was there and he was telling them what to do. At this stage, all melees run in and unload on it. Now mages with dots. He was doing the whole thing. And somehow one of the players ended up in the whelps. And they were recording it. And this dude lost his freaking mind. Like, he was cussing and carrying on. Who the fuck was in the whelps? That's minus 350 DKP, which is, I guess, how some guilds figured out how much treasure you got. Like every raid you went on that was, successful or not your fault that it was a failure, you earned DKP. And when you had enough DKP, you could say, hey, I want, one of the items that drops from this raid. And then you would get that item, but then you would go back to the end of the list, basically, right? But if you were the kind of guy that had no life and you went on every single guild raid, then you were going to get the DKP and therefore get the gear much quicker. Now, one of the worst things WoW ever did is they added the ability to look at people's gear rating. That was terrible, because then all of a sudden you had people like mocking other people because their gear sucked and stuff like this. And it was like, yeah, this is nice. This is great. That kind of stuff really affects people like me because I tend to be mostly a soloer. So I don't go on a lot of raids. So if I'm out and I'm like, hey, yeah, if you want, we'll group up and kill this monster. And they do a gear check and they're like, nah, get bent. You suck. Oh, that's what DKP means. Dragon kill point. See, all my life I never knew what it meant. I just knew the Romanian guy was super pissed off about it.
James, do you have Pepper Box?
I don't even know what that is. The only pepper box I know about is the one in my cabinet.
Pepper Box is the unsubscribe internet. Basically, you pay $8 a month and you get extra videos from all those guys. They have exclusive stuff. It's kind of like a quote unquote a Patreon, but it's low cost because you get like Fat Electrician, Donut Operator, Angry Cops, unsubscribe, and they have like special videos where like you go to the exclusives and you get like 12 more hours of recordings a week or content a week, which is kind of nice. If you like those guys, that's why I was asking if you had it.
Right.
One of their shows is called Kinda Consensual, where it's Nick, Eli, Habitual Line Crosser, and Fat Electrician. No, it's Angry Cops.
Angry Cop. I like Angry Cop.
Yeah. Well, they're talking about all the things that Nick is doing, and he's getting a little bit better. His arms healed up.
Yeah.
They were discussing what they were going to do with this physical challenge, open up to the Pepper Box people and try to have prizes for losing the most weight and all that. And Nick's like, "I'll be fine. Don't worry about me and my arm. Well, once you break a limb, it's easier to break again." It's like, "I'll be fine." One of the guys like, "You know what, Nick? You ought to buy Trapper Keeper. You did really good with that binder." He's like, "Yeah." And then fucking Angry Cops belts it out. "It'll be the Knicker Keeper." And no shit. There's a fucking flood of everything. Are electricians fans now called Knickers?
I do remember watching Veteran TV.
Yeah.
They had one of the best episodes ever. The Marines were like sitting around bitching.
Yep.
And like a Humvee pulled up and these dudes jumped out. And the Marines were all like super jealous because it was like Army Special Forces. And like all these dudes were dressed in like khakis with big beards and shit. And the Marines are like, why can't we ever do that? And the Army dudes are just slow walking through the camp with their freaking Scar S's and shit like that. And they're just like, but that's a true story though. In reality, when those like Special Forces dudes go out, yeah, they get beards and tactical pants and freaking tactical beards, as they call them. And they're allowed to pick whatever weapon they want. So, of course, a lot of them pick Scars, either the S or the H variant. And the reason is because they're literally the best battle rifles out there. It turns out Special Forces type guys prefer a rifle that fires 7.62 over a rifle that fires 5.56. So, yeah. But that was so funny watching the Marines bitch about the Army getting all the good shit. And because I was sitting there being like, it's true though. The Marines are like the stepchildren of the military. It's like whatever the most terrible bit of gear is, that's what they're getting.
Yeah, that's a thing.
It's like, hey, there's this thing that the Army absolutely refuses to use. Here you go. Like, what? Yeah, apparently if you're not careful around the breech, you'll take a finger or two off. And just, if I was a Marine, I'd just be like, why?
Why do I have this?
Why do I have this? You know it sucks. I know it sucks. Why am I riding around in a tank that actually literally killed Vietnamese people? And it's 1990 something. You know what I mean? It's like, what is happening here?
Oh, okay. I mean, now you're stepping on some sacred ground there because we got a bunch of young kids. They're Generation Z, going in the military. They're aircraft mechanics, and they're on the same B-52 that their dad and their grandfather was on.
Well,
And
the
what do you think about that?
B-52 will never be retired. I mean,
That's
like
right. I am forever.
every time we're like, yeah, maybe we'll retire the B-52. It's like, no. It's like the M1A1. I don't know if you heard the story that went on with that. The U.S. government spent like millions of dollars trying to research a replacement for the M1 Abrams. And at the end of it, they just said, no, we can't make anything better.
I heard that I actually
So
heard
they
that
just
they're
started upgrading the M1 with like even more crazy shit.
I heard that they're doing a new Abrams.
Yeah, I've seen the new tank that they've got.
The Abrams X.
The I don't know if it's the Abrams X. It's got auto loader capacity. They have comfortable fucking seats in it.
Apparently, it's got a laser point defense weapon.
Yep.
And the
Sensors,
ability to
cameras.
like fuck drones over. Like it can, like wherever it goes, it emits signals and shit that just kills drones. But then it's also got a point defense gun. So if you have a wire guided drone, as soon as this thing picks that shit up, it's just going to melt it. You know what I mean? And they're all like combat linked to everything. So if anyone anywhere in the Army or the Air Force or whatever sees anything, the tank sees it too.
Oh,
And vice
James.
versa.
Question though.
And
Which
vice
is
versa.
better, the Leopard 2 or the Abrams?
Abrams. Because the one problem that Abrams had, the new Abrams fixes.
Yeah,
They-
well, here's the thing. A lot of people think, or trying to say that the Leopard 2 was a much better tank and that the Army only took it because, it's a bias. They wanted their tank to win.
Okay, here's the thing. The Leopard 2 is an amazing tank. But the only thing that it had that I would consider superior to the M1 is a diesel engine. Because the rotary jet engine of the M1 has always been a weakness. That thing takes so much fuel. And if you're in a desert environment, the sand getting sucked through it will literally eat the blades off of the
I could see the sand, but the funny
turbine.
thing is, apparently when they did do the Abrams, they did actually have a diesel version of it that actually used more
That's
fuel.
what they're doing now. The new M1 Abrams, apparently somebody has finally developed a big freaking diesel engine that'll fit in the back of that bitch and power it with the same level of, power to weight ratio.
Yeah.
So they're talking about getting rid of that piece of shit diesel or turbine engine that had to be powered by kerosene and got 1 mile to the 100 gallons.
You know what they found originally that was also better on the Leopard?
I
The
have
gun.
no idea.
The gun. That's one thing we did actually
They have
take
the
from
same gun.
the Leopard.
Yeah, they have the same gun now.
Yep.
Because the M1A1 originally had the American-made 105, which was the same gun that was on the M60 Starship. And we ditched that 105 for the 120 Rheinmetall, which was a German-designed gun. And now we're talking about ditching the 120 Rheinmetall for a 125. Why? Beats the shit out of me.
Uh,
To quote America in Habitual Lion Crosser, we just be building shit.
Yeah.
it's like when you have unlimited resources, what are you gonna do with it? Whatever you want.
America. What are
Yeah,
you
it
doing
always starts
now?
out with England, like being like, "What are you doing?"
America.
But yeah, here's the
We built
big
drones
issues.
that carry drones.
Here was
It's
the big
like-
issues that the reason why America didn't adopt the Leopard. One, it was way heavier than what they wanted, even without the weapon.
The reality is, it's German.
And it didn't actually hold up to any of the specs that America really wanted.
Yeah, because every time you started the engine, the tank started playing Erica. And they're just like, "Look, guys, I mean, I know we're allies now, but
Well, the Koreans and the Japanese just came out with a hydrogen powered main battle tank.
Really?
Yep. And that sounds super awesome, and it is super space agey, but hydrogen is super, super explosive.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to power a tank with that.
That is why we don't have hydrogen cars right now, because the containment
explosive.
system is
Yeah,
like, you know, and the
Again,
last thing you want is a standard car crash to turn into, you know,
an explosion.
It's actually, I'm reading here, guys. It's a hybrid hydrogen diesel system.
huh.
Yeah, but wouldn't you not want the tank that you're gonna get shot at, explode?
And that is one of the advantages of diesel. It doesn't explode. It will
Yeah.
burn, but it does not like go off the way gas does,
There's no concussive force.
or kerosene. Because I'll be honest, 100%, the M1 Abrams was powered by kerosene. They call it jet fuel, but it's just kerosene. You know? And everywhere we went, we had to have like a whole convoy of Hemmets following behind us, just full of fuel. Because that thing is not designed to go very far.
Okay, and I have a question, gentlemen. How can they call a tank stealthy? There is no such thing as a stealthy tank. You're going to hear that thing coming from a mile away.
I'll tell you what.
You'd-
The first thing you hear with an M1 is the tracks.
Yeah, true. The M1's gas turbines are actually kind of quiet on the outside, but very
They're
I
kind
heard
of
that-
quiet. So
I
you'll
heard
hear
that they're
those
very
tracks
loud
rattling,
if
though.
you're in the thing, though.
Yeah, you hear those tracks rattling, man, when that thing's coming in the middle of the night. You just duck down in your foxhole and hope you don't get ran over.
Which is one thing I didn't like about War Thunder, because instead of being very quiet, it sounds like a Hoover's coming at you.
Yeah, so yep. If they can do all the things they're saying they're going to do to the next gen M1A1 tank, that bastard will be in service long after I'm dead. I mean, we're talking about lasers and freaking crazy sensors
I
and
don't see it,
interlock
James.
networking, and
I don't see it, James. I see more drone technology coming out, and they're going to start dropping like those, what were the name of those bombs that you drop from a plane and that they started spinning up, and then they would shoot a projectile into the top of tanks and shit like that.
well, we called them javelins.
Oh yeah, but
Javelin.
it was
'cause
something
the
they dropped
javelin
that-
is specifically designed to pop up at the last minute and then drop down on top of the tank.
Yeah,
Drones right now in Ukraine are a big thing because of who is involved.
Yeah.
If Ukraine or Russia, with all of their drones, was fighting a country like the United States, let me tell you, no one give a fuck about drones.
yeah, but
We
James,
would knock that shit out of the air so quick they wouldn't even know what they're doing. And we would triangulate where those drones were coming from and send artillery that way, quick as you please.
I
with
realize
the
that.
armies that are currently fighting, the drones appear to be these like super weapons, but it's only because they're not fighting armies designed to deal with them. We are.
Well, here's the thing, though, James, is what I'm talking about is like these Reaper drones that are 30,000 feet up. You don't need to have, you don't really need to have that much fuel on board if you're going to drop a small missile from that height with a tungsten uranium rod, and it's dropping down from that 30,000 square feet. It's got GPS or whatever laser
Guidance, yeah.
a laser whatchamacallit on it, and
Problem is with that,
it's going to ignite the fuel, and it's going to go straight down as fast as hell, and it's going to go right in through the roof of a tank and blow up.
Problem with that would be that you still need like air superiority, and who do you think's gonna win on air superiority?
Yeah, no one in the universe is going to beat America on air superiority. It's not happening. And if you want, just for fun, look up the number of Reaper drones that have been shot down. It's impressive. A lot of them. I mean,
I can only think of one really that's been shot down. Was that one that crashed in Iran that the Chinese bought from the Iranians?
they've shot down a few of them, I believe.
I don't know.
I mean, it's a thing. It's not stealth, and it's almost as big as a damn fighter jet.
Yeah, that's the problem that I have with drones. They're supposed to be tiny. They're not tiny.
Nope.
The size of a fucking Winnebago. I'm good.
Yeah, our Reapers are pretty big. So if you're dealing with like a Soviet, what is it, S-400,
wow,
they'll take that thing down all day. I mean, and if you're dealing with American anti-air, forget about it. I mean,
the Houthis have shot down 7 U.S. Reaper drones, costing the U.S. government $200 million. It says,
But they're not boats, so we don't fucking nuke the Yemens. That's why. If it was a boat, if it was a drone boat, man, we'd fucking nuke the shit out of them.
Yeah, they know that. They tried to send some drones at one of our boats, and we like erased the whole area they were in. Because dude is right. There's one thing you don't do to America, and that is F with our boats. You can get away with a lot of shit.
Warning Ukraine, do not fuck with America's boats.
Yeah. You can get away with a lot of stuff, but if you start messing with our boats, we will drop the sun on you. It's just, a thing. Because we're smart, and we've known from the time of our founders that if you want to be a respected power, it has to start with an impressive navy. Because like Russia is not a superpower. It's a regional power that happens to have a shit ton of nukes. But the reason it's not a superpower is because it can't project force anywhere.
I mean, they don't have the tugboats to pull all their ships.
Right. I mean, they barely have any ships. They barely have any ships. They've got a few submarines, which are dangerous.
Yes.
I mean, the Typhoon class submarine is dangerous, not only to its own crew, but everybody.
So did you guys see that they finally, the Russians have finally said they're going to scrap the Admiral Kustanov or whatever the hell is that
no way
carrier of theirs?
Yeah, well, because of that one sub that got blown up. I heard about them losing a sub.
I was going to buy that on fucking World of Warcraft or World of Warships, but I couldn't afford the tugboats.
Yeah, Russia has basically come to the realization that they're not a world power, and they're not going to be. Right? It's like funny stuff is when you look up UK people react to the American Navy.
Yeah.
And the UK has like one carrier, and it's little.
They're going to
Nope.
be putting 8.
They got like the
Uh,
Ark Royal, and they got one devoted to helicopters or something.
They're going to be
Yeah.
putting 8 carriers in service total within the next decade, I think.
Meanwhile, when they see how much shit we got,
It has
they are
2 right
literally
now.
gobsmacked.
It has 2, James. It's got the Queen Elizabeth and the Prince of Wales.
Nice. Good for okay then. Beans and toast up in their game.
Huh?
But you know what I would say to that? Those
We
are
have-
rookie numbers.
Yeah.
You need to get those numbers up.
We have 20 operational aircraft carriers,
And our Gerald R. Ford is truly a
super carrier.
miracle of human design and construction.
They're
I mean,
considered super carriers.
yeah, that thing. I mean, when you think about how complex and shit, that thing, the fact that someone made that,
China has 3, Japan has 4, but they're more like helicopters. Like 2 of them's helicopter.
yeah, what they ended up doing is the
Burden.
Japanese had the helicopter carriers, so they bought VTOL F-35s
Yep.
from America. So
France
now
has
Japan
4.
has carriers that are capable of carrying fighter bombers.
Well, France has 4 with 1 nuclear powered one.
Yeah, see, that's all a joke. You can
No, it says
almost
here-
add up.
no, it says here, I'm looking it up.
Look it up.
US has 11. China has 3.
China.
Japan has just a helicopter carrier that's been operating with fixed wing aircraft off of it. France has 1. India has 2 with plans for a 3rd. Italy has 2. And that's it.
So basically, what you're saying is America has way more than anyone else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And what's funny is
I
like
think this is by operational too, because
China has more actual ships, but if you compare tonnage, it's not even close. So I don't know if they're counting speedboats or whatever in their.
Well, it says here now. We'll just go through the list. If you want to know true American numbers, it's 20 if you count aircraft and helicopter carriers.
Right.
Behind us are the Chinese, the Japanese, then France, then India, Egypt, UK, Italy, South Korea, Australia, Brazil, Russia, Turkey, and Thailand.
And
Supposedly, Australia is buying carriers from us.
Yeah.
Like some of our older stuff and submarines.
yeah, and a lot of these aircraft carriers that's out there are well outdated compared to what we have.
Now, the Japanese carrier that they recently put in water is impressive as hell.
That's fair.
It's small, it's fast, and it's equipped with F-35s. So, I mean, this is not a joke. This is a weapon that can
Japan's been
reach
really
out,
wanting to rearm.
reach out and let you know that people are unhappy.
Japan's been really wanting to rearm, but just don't have the ability to really.
They changed their constitution so that they could.
I know, but really their issue is economic
Yeah.
more than their constitution.
Well, if I was Japan, I wouldn't concentrate on that anyways. I concentrate on fighter interceptors, missile defense. I mean, they're in a rock and a hard spot with the Chinese right there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I know, but that's just the issue. That they don't really have the resources to be putting into military, especially with their declining population.
Oh yeah.
It's just like the yen is just like in a very poor state. Nothing's
Well,
going
that's
their
because
way.
they got the carryover trade in the financial markets, which is basically zero interest rate on loans.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of companies, a lot of American companies go over to Japan, borrow money, then they turn around and they invest it over here in bonds and shit like that. So, the Japanese don't make any money on that. So
Good. Good
I've
for
been reading about the Japanese carry trade, and it's just like I don't understand why a government would do that, but
We shall start paying the Japanese in rice.
They'll be
It
going
will
back
be
to
like
rice.
the samurai times
Yeah, they're
when a
going back to
samurai
the
was
rice-based
paid
economy.
koku, which was enough
Rice.
rice to feed one person for 1 year.
Yep. Their economic system was based on rice at one point.
Yep. But what happened is, for the longest time in Japan, they made it undesirable to be in the military. And now all of a sudden they've totally flipped the script and they're promoting the military.
Yeah, but it
You
doesn't
know what I
matter.
mean?
I
And
think it's just a little too
at the
late.
same time, they're throwing all these destroyer class ships into the water, and these things are state of the art.
Yeah.
You know, cruise missile destroyers, and now they've converted one of their destroyers to be a flat top for F-35.
You know, James, there's one thing I wish we could help them with, actually, if we could share the technology. Their railgun technology.
They have a ship with a railgun on it.
Yes, I know. We weren't actually able to do that. Maybe because we didn't really care too much, but still, it's interesting.
We invited them to come to Yemen and shoot their railgun at the Yemeni.
I like how we invited them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They're still working out some kinks because the railgun will still tear itself apart firing, but yeah, what are you going to do about that?
But we were like, hey, Japan, we hear you got a destroyer with a railgun on it. If you want to head over here and hang out with us and shoot Yemen with it,
one of our modern destroyers was supposed to have a railgun on it, but we couldn't figure it out, so we were going to put a regular one, but we messed up on the dimensions, couldn't put a regular gun on it.
Dude,
so
we got destroyers with lasers on them.
I know, but it's like we messed up on 2 modern destroyers because we wanted railguns on it and just didn't plan for anything else.
Yeah, but you know how quick we can crank a destroyer out?
Oh, yeah, probably an afternoon.
Yeah, you know, it's like, oh, we messed up a destroyer. What shall we do? We'll make a couple more. I mean, you know. U.S. still is rocking. We got plenty of oil and aluminum. We got plenty of copper for wiring. I mean, okay, let's do this thing. Let's
and the economy's getting a lot better.
You know.
Have you seen how CNN's still trying to say that eggs and bacon are up still, then it's because of Trump?
I love CNN. Oh, they got that one guy. They got that one guy on CNN that always does the polls.
Left, this is as bad as the headline this morning, and they're saying they took $9 billion away from NPR. Well, if you look in the numbers in the bill and go back, it's only $1.07 billion, and it isn't like the public broadcasters. They've got channels all over the country, can't raise the money if they don't want to, or start advertising if they wanted to. You know.
Yeah, fuck NPR. That's my opinion about NPR. Fuck them. Right in their goat ass.
If NPR disappeared tomorrow, nobody would.
No one would care.
Yeah, no one would care. Nobody would see even a difference, except for the people who work.
Well, it doesn't stop. It doesn't mean no politics radio. It's, you know, that does not exactly what it means.
Yeah, it's like no one would give a shit. NPR can go away. And they're sitting there talking about. I couldn't believe the one lady got up there and started talking about getting rid of NPR is like an attack on the First Amendment. And it's like,
what? No, it's not.
You know? Radio stations fail all the time. This one doesn't fail no matter how horrible it is because we pay.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just get rid of it. Seems like a good idea to me, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah, but even on CNN, there was that one guy who was like, "Are you crazy? Eggs and bacon have been going down since Trump has been on office. No, it's not below the last year or the year before that." And it's like, he just got into office.
Yeah, they got that one guy on CNN, and he's constantly clowning them.
It's like you're
I mean,
just
pardon
cherry
me,
picking.
I'm
It's like
shoving down a freaking egg sandwich.
egg sandwich doesn't sound bad.
Well, my wife made it for me like an hour ago.
I had grilled chicken.
Nice. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, just screw them. That's all I gotta say. Just screw
Yeah.
them.
Do you want the best beef that you could get at your local store? You
Okay.
want to go to the butcher shop, the butcher mart at your store, and look for what's called a chuck eye steak. When the chucks are sent out, they're usually like 30, 40 pounds of meat. The first cut off these things, there's a heavily marbled piece of meat. That's the eye. That's the first cut they make. If your store is a volume dealer and they've got like 7 or 8 packages of these chuck eye steaks, grab all 7 or 8 of the chuck eye steaks, walk it to the butcher shop, say, listen, I want these put in a family pack. They usually give you a discount for the family pack price. The chuck eye is right now for the select at HEB, it's $11 a pound, $10.99. Not horribly cheap, but they only come in like maybe 6 to 8 ounce amount of steak. So you get like 2 or 3 per package. So you can actually have like some breakfast steaks or anytime steaks. I'm thawing those out right now.
I don't know. I go to Costco and I just buy a big tenderloin, and I just cut that sucker up. Just bring it home and just chop it all down. Or else I buy a pork tenderloin, do the same thing. I just cut them all down. Just like, here we go. I'm gonna save myself money. Just package it myself. About inch to inch and a half thick pork chops, and let those pull them out in the morning. Let them, you know.
I am my wife's butcher.
I knew you handled your wife's meat. Come on, you gonna leave that hanging there and not expect me to pick it up and play with it?
But yeah, we'll buy meat in bulk pieces, and then I butcher it down.
I used to go to Costco, and I now go to Sam's. I like the Sam's quality beef a little bit better, but they don't have the chuck eye steak over at Sam's.
My cousins apparently just go to the Amish.
Yeah.
Well, if I could find an Amish butcher, I'd go to them. But because I
Yeah.
know what kind of beef they'd be chopping up too, because they don't use any of that other nonsense, you know. So
But unfortunately, all the Vikings wiped them out when they invaded Minnesota. So there's probably some Amish in Minnesota somewhere.
I'm sure there is.
Or Mennonite.
Yeah, Mennonite, something.
You remember the Mummy Returns part 2 of the Mummy series with Brandon Fraser?
Yeah.
I mean, sure.
There's a scene where there's a sword fight, and I would love to have a sword fight with a AI generated Amishman kicking the black guy's ass. The black guy at the very end, you know, not bad for a Mennonite.
Yeah. This is my 1986 Chris knife, but I haven't painted the blade. I've also got Stilgar's Chris knife.
Somebody's computer's going. Doop, doop, doop. Not me.
Well, that's mine because I I have alerts on Discord.
Oh,
So if anyone gets on my channel and starts like going off, I get alerts. But then I check them later, you know.
yeah.
Oh, James, that reminds me. Did you see the anime version of the Dungeon Master I showed in the memes?
The what?
I found something that looked almost exactly like the Dungeon Master from the 80s cartoon, but as an anime character.
Oh, neat. Was he a pervert like Goku's
Master? I don't know. I just found a
master?
picture.
I mean,
Didn't really give me a text on.
because that was kind of a weird thing when Dragon Ball came out, and everybody thought it was like for little kids, but then Goku's master was always like, you know, beating off to hardcore porn and shit.
It was a little bit pervy, yes.
Yeah. And they did the same thing in Naruto with the pervy sage or whatever.
Apparently, Japanese finds that funny.
Like pervy old men.
Yes, they find them funny. I guess I don't know. Japan's weird sometimes. They have weird senses of humor.
Yeah.
I know that because I mean, again, I watched something called The Ultimate Teacher, and the very start.
That's why you know that, because you're a weeb.
In the beginning of this movie, though, was just a bunch of racial stereotypes for no apparent reason.
What a terrible thing to be a weeb, to fantasize about having a big, busty Japanese wife that's subservient and a good cook.
Yeah, well, the big busty part is just now starting to come into
fruition,
favor, because for the longest time, having big breasts in Japan was considered like a horrible thing if you're a woman.
Yeah. You know what? It's just personality, man. I don't.
She's got big personality.
It's a good personality is 95% of the goddamn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the point with the Japanese was they never ever want to stand out from the crowd, right? Yeah. So that means since the vast majority of Japanese girls were flat chested, the few of them that were born with big boobas would literally wrap their boobs up when they're in public so that they wouldn't stand out.
Oh.
Because they're Asian and that's what they do.
That's almost peak wife material right there. Like she tries to play the game that bigger than you thought, you know? And then
right. I mean,
you go home, you know, your wife is like, okay, it's time to unwrap my boobs like a Christmas present and let them breathe.
Right.
Perfect. I mean, you know, this is almost like playing Dungeons and Dragons where you think like, okay, we're going to role play a healthy life and I cast spells and then get 8 hours of sleep a night.
Dungeons and Dragons, where owning a house is not just a dream.
Oh, don't bring that up when Bear's in chat.
Oh my God.
I feel so bad. I mean, I felt after his rants, my wife and I watched a documentary about the Canadian housing issues. It's like, wow. You know what I mean?
I know. I looked up the prices. It was ridiculous.
They fucked up Canada so bad.
Yep.
That's all I can say.
It is just hard to believe. Like there was a house and it looked like a haunted house, and like the front porch door was like hanging on by like one hinge, and the whole foundation looked like it might be leaning a little bit, and it was $1.2 million.
Yep.
Nope. I've been to houses like that. I was out looking and I was just like, I looked at the house and I just all I had to do was drive up the driveway, James. I looked at it and said, nope. And the real estate agent went, what do you mean? We haven't even went inside. That's all I had to say. No.
From the but I mean, you're in America.
Yeah.
For that dilapidated house, I seen islands that you could buy that was cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about these poor Canadians. They're like screwed, man.
I don't understand. They've got all that wood up there. Why is it so damn expensive for a house? And they got more land than Jesus.
Probably building regulations,
That's
people moving
100%
in,
it.
and
The leftist government has made it so difficult to like get all the licenses and stuff you need to do things that
Oh,
it's
not-
not like you can just buy a bunch of land up near the Slave Lakes in Saskatchewan and just go up there and build a cabin.
not to mention, even if
You
you
need
did,
like
they
50
probably have,
licenses to do that.
like, especially for renting, they probably have also rent control, meaning you can't raise your prices to a
I
certain
don't
point.
know if they have rent control because I mean, I don't remember Bear saying anything about any rent control.
I mean,
I
I
I
remember
remember him
going
saying
broke.
they need it.
I remember him saying he was going broke, so I think they need something
According
there.
to the documentary I was watching, Bruce,
Yeah.
Canadians now pay 50% of their earnings in taxes.
Why even
It's
stay?
ridiculous.
Why even stay? I mean, unless
Yeah,
like,
why stay at that point?
that would like no, I'd move somewhere nicer where I could enjoy 4 seasons.
No, apparently they enjoy 4 seasons because the last time I talked to Bear, it was 90 something degrees up there. So they're enjoying something.
That's not enjoying it.
But yeah, what Canada doesn't need is rent control. What it does need is to, get rid of all those regulations keeping people from building houses and allowing competition in, and that would drive down the prices.
Yep. But all we can do sitting here is wait and see. Maybe they'll do it, maybe they won't.
They won't.
Well, it's not a surprise that I hear about all these Canadians that are selling their homes in like Florida and stuff, and they're going to Costa Rica and Mexico and stuff like that because they're like, well, we can no longer afford the American dream, so now we got to, the American Florida edition stuff. We're going to go to Mexico where the taxes are set at a flat rate if you're over 65 down there, and the cost of living is far less than the United States. So I'm just not surprised that these people are going
but Costa Rica is getting really kind of weird about who they let in.
Yeah, they got the $50,000 rule last I heard. You got to have $50,000 cash in the bank before they let you buy a home down there and all that other stuff.
Yeah, so. They're pretty wild about it. They're like, yeah, if you ain't got any money, don't bring your ass down here because we don't need it.
Well, I told the girlfriend if I won the lottery, I said I would buy a place in Italy and I'd have a place possibly in Florida and one in Wisconsin. I would not come back to Minnesota at all. Not a chance.
There's nothing that's going to get me to leave Kentucky. I'll just stay in Kentucky.
And my opinion is if I ever won the lotto, I would be in Kentucky. And once I got up there in the hills and got my cabin made, there wouldn't be anything that could drag me out.
If I won the lottery, I would probably put most of it away and just buy a car and be done with it.
Yeah.
That'd be about my biggest change.
But Leth, you have to understand that a lot of people in America are born in places that suck.
Yep.
And they have no idea what it's like to be from an actual great state. So all we can do is just be like sympathetic, really.
James, the sun shines bright on my old Kentucky home.
It does. And sometimes I walk down the street in the cold Kentucky rain. And every now and then you might see the blue moon of Kentucky. I mean, a state so good, Elvis sang about it a lot. You know what I mean?
Yep. A lot of
Elvis-
different people did.
Elvis, yeah, a lot of people did. Patsy Cline, a lot of people.
Who
Like,
sang
we're gonna
Blue
sing-
Moon of Kentucky?
And then Loretta Lynn is from Butcher Holler, Kentucky, which means her sister, Crystal Gale, also Butcher Holler. Johnny Depp, with his dumb ass, is from Kentucky, as is,
He's in that
Clooney.
weird part of Kentucky.
Yeah. What's his name, though? Clooney?
I didn't know he was, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
And he was actually related to the musician Rosemary Clooney. At the end of the day, I guess what we're saying, though, is that Kentucky is the greatest Commonwealth of all time.
I would not move back to Illinois if I won the lottery. I know that much.
And
Oh, Jesus. You go back to Illinois there, Bruce, and you might as well just hand them the whole
And
win.
the whole fucking bag. Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck.
No.
I'd buy a fucking F-14 and load it up with fuel and get rid of Chicago. Wait, did I say that loud? I'm
I
sorry.
know that my parents have never been happier since they moved back to Kentucky.
Well, the only reason I would buy a place in Italy is I want to go travel Europe for a while. I'd like to do a driving trip and get into all the old Dungeons and Dragons type, lore crap and stuff, and just, you know what I mean? Sort of like a expedition of discovery and learning, looking at the castles and all that kind of stuff. And
you don't have to live in Italy. You don't have to live in Europe to do that. You could just visit sometimes.
you know what? It's cheaper to own a home.
I wonder how much it would cost to buy a decent, safe apartment in like St. Petersburg.
They can't
Russia?
be that much.
Yes.
They
I
can't
don't know.
be
Look
that
it
much.
Not
up.
much.
I don't care enough to look it up
Oh,
because
God.
I'm never going to do it. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't think I'd have any chance of convincing my wife to move there. So,
All right, I typed it into my Grok here. We'll see what happens here.
Man,
Bruce, her family were from where you're from.
About 600 to 1,200 monthly rent ranges.
Is that in ruples or
Dollars,
Dollars.
it looks like. If you want a suburban area, though, in St. Petersburg, it's $350 to $700 per month.
Oh, that'd be even better than a dacha outside of St. Petersburg, especially if it had a freaking steam room built in and everything.
Larger apartments, such as 2 or 3 unit bedrooms, could cost anywhere from $900 to $2,500 a month.
Yeah.
now I gotta ask: Are those apartments? Do they have like a lack of a family room, or is it just a bunch of bedrooms and a kitchen?
I
Because
don't know.
Newly built condominiums in Russia, in the city center, are $153,000 US. Outside the city, you can get them for 75. So
That makes sense. I mean, that's really no different than here with New York,
yeah, well, you can buy a condo now down in Florida for next to nothing. If you wait another 6 months, it's going to be nothing down there. They're going to be giving them away.
Oh, you mean when the bubble we've created down here finally?
Well, no, those condo rules you got down there in Florida now on the coast there for all those, you know what I mean?
I think I have something I should show you guys. Let me see if I can find it. No, it's not my penis. I appreciate the sound of excitement in your voice, though.
No, there was no excitement there.
Hey, you heard what you heard. I heard what I heard.
Yeah, I think your mind is going.
Sometimes I don't know about my mind.
it was the egg salad sandwich that fucked him up.
It is kind of like an egg salad sandwich, but it's not because um, it's hard fried eggs, but on a keto type bread with a lot of mayonnaise. Because I mean, mayonnaise.
I have no need for mayonnaise.
I think I'm gonna have to go though. I'll see you.
I guess
All
I'll
right,
see you
Leth.
later, Leth.
Show
Or
us
as I will call him from now on, the question.
that questioner.
We need to get him like a plain white face mask and a fedora.
No. I want to get him a robe and a big fake beard. Give it to me. Your question's 3.
Let's see if this is going to show us what I want. No, I don't care about your okay. Okay. This is the guy I want to see, Grant Warrington. So I might have to go to his video, his channel. Yeah, he wants to eliminate property tax, which is like amazing.
No, we just saw that video from New York Mayor Hopeful. No,
What do you mean no?
I don't want to give away my fucking personal property. That guy's got a house. Plus, I know he's a silver spoon piece of shit, acting like a typical socialist, fucking champagne socialist. Like, oh, all the money's great when it's in my hands, but nope, we're gonna get rid of capitalism and get rid of private property, and everybody deserves a house.
Yeah, damn it,
Okay.
I can't find what I'm looking for.
Is that what you're going to show us about Mayor's Adami? You're on Dami.
No, I was going to show you about the 9 new rules in Florida.
Oh, God.
Like one of them is if someone's standing in the highway and you run them over, they get charged, not you.
Well, that should be. You're a jaywalker then, unless you're crossing at. I assume that there's going to be a fine line on that saying if you're crossing at a stop light, you know what I mean, then it's okay. Or at a stop sign, there's going to be some.
Yeah, I don't think you understand. What DeSantis is saying is if your punk ass thinks you're going to stand in the middle of the road and protest, you're going to get smeared in the street pizza. Because no one in Florida has to stop for your dumb ass. Florida cops have been instructed that if a protester throws a rock at them, they can shoot him. So, I mean, that's good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, yeah, Florida has come out with like these 9 new laws, and they're all kind of aimed at California. You know what I mean? It's like whatever California is doing, Florida's passing laws to be exactly the opposite of it. And so, yeah, if you can riot not riot. You can protest in Florida all you like, as long as you stay on the sidewalk, out of the street, and don't try to do any criminal activity. Because
you're not a public nuisance.
The second you do anything breaking the rules, then the cops are allowed to take you down. And I mean, for real, you chuck a brick at a cop, they pull that Glock out, and then, sorry about your luck. You think you're going to sit in the middle of I-75? Let me tell you, one of those Big Mac trucks is going to come along and they will not even fill the bump. You know what I mean? and it will not be his problem. You will be charged if you live, which you probably won't. I mean, Florida's just getting wild, man. It's like, you know, you can do shit down here, but keep it reasonable. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Manowar, I know he said it like 30 minutes ago, but he's sorry he knows what DKP is. Yeah, because it means he was in one of those raiding guilds that probably took the game way more serious than they should have. I remember when I played EQ, when it came out and it was still owned by Variant, and before there were any expansions, I played what they called an Inky Shadow Knight, which means I was a dark elf. And I ended up in this guild on Brel Sorellis. And part of the rule to be in this guild is you had to log on at least 3 hours a day. I mean, as a rule, you had to be on 3 hours a day.
Jesus criminy. No way.
And they kept track of that shit. And if you didn't log on, if you didn't show up to raids, if you didn't do like whatever, then they would get rid of you and you would be gone. And, you know,
That's just too much time.
It is, but this was young me, and this was a very prestigious guild. Like, we had killed Lady Vox, we had killed Nagafin, you know, like all that shit in the original content, all of the boss mobs we had taken out. So being in that guild was really cool because, yeah, the guild was so about getting shit done. You know what I mean? And getting people geared up. And so it's just a really good guild to be in.
But you need that time at least daily to get actual fucking good levels and good gear.
Exactly.
MMORPGs are a job.
Yeah.
That's what it's always been. I mean, I bought EverQuest when it came out, and I needed like another 8 hours a day to get anywhere on it because I was on dial-up.
Right. And it's like I met some great friends on EverQuest, you know, that I never saw. But, you know, since I'm logging in, the amount of time I'm logging in every day, you know, and like the first thing I'm doing is typing in guild, you know, hey, who's doing what? And then like they're all like, hey, we need a tank, man. So I'm like, oh, I'll be right there. And
you were already planning on being with them today anyway, you know?
Right. And so we've got what we called the Holy Trinity in original EQ, which was a warrior or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow Knight would work. It was a little more difficult, but it would work. And Enchanter, because they had power over time.
Yep.
And a cleric. And mainly because the cleric had heal over time. And if you had those three members in the group, then you could literally add any other class you wanted and it wouldn't matter. I mean, you know, if you add a thief and the guy playing a thief understands, you know, about getting around behind the enemy and backstabbing them. Bertoxilus. Nice. Awesome. Yeah, I loved my Dark Elf Shadow Knight. His name was Sinetti, spelled with an S. So like Sin, Eddie. And on Brel, I was pretty well known. Like well known enough that when I eventually ended up going to Dark Age of Camelot, I made a character with similar name as an alt. And I was running around and the guy's like, hey, did you ever play EQ? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, were you a Shadow Knight? And I was like, yeah. He's like, holy shit, dude, we're in the same guild. I remember you used to run raids and shit. I was like, hey, man, catching up with people and shit. That was a long time ago, though. But back then, I was going through a nasty divorce and I was working third shift at a convenience store. And 80% of the money I made at the convenience store was paying child support. So I literally was that loser that absolutely had nothing better to do. So, get home from work, take a nap, wake up, jump online, try to forget about real life for, 6 hours or so, then go to work. And that was pretty much my entire life.
There's nothing wrong with that because, like, you were using all that shit just to make sure you had focus for your big shit, your divorce. And,
yeah.
I mean, you came out of it all right. You're not a serial murderer. You didn't, turn to drugs and alcohol. You came out. You have your head on straight. Looks like you did pretty well, man.
Well, what they say about sometimes things happen and it makes it better. And that's what happened with me. Because after that marriage was over and I, started getting shit together, and then I eventually ran into the woman I'm married to today. And instead of being a filthy whore that was constantly cheating on me, she was like cool, you know what I mean? And loyal. And she worked. My favorite is when you've got to work all the time to pay all the bills because your wife won't. But then you catch them cheating and they blame you because they say they never see you.
Yeah.
And it's like, you never see me because I got to work 12 hours a day to pay the bills. We got kids and stuff, right? And you refuse to lift a finger to do any damn thing. If I come home and ask for a glass of tea, you act like I'm, abusing you or
Ripping
something.
your teeth out or something.
Right. It's like, but like I said, I met a good girl and, and my whole life changed, especially because this particular good girl, for some reason, had faith in my ability.
That's always important when you find
Right.
one who believes in you.
Yep.
Like your searching's done. It's over.
Yep. She believed whatever I wanted to do. Did we marry the same harpy? Maybe, Man of War. I mean, it's possible. You know what they used to say, one bitch and 1,000 faces? But anyway, like all of the cool shit I did after I met her was because she told me she 100% believed I could do it. And then she worked her ass off to make sure I could. Like the whole time I was going to Fire Academy and EMT and all that shit, I didn't have to help with any housework because she was like, look, you're working full time. You're going to Fire Academy and all of that. So I will just take care of everything at the house. And you got nothing to worry about. And, that's kind of a big deal, That is kind of a big deal, knowing that somebody's got your back. And, things worked out the way they worked out. And, lately I haven't even been mad about it. You know, I spent a lot of time being very angry about my situation, but no, not
Like,
so
you
much.
think you far in life? Did you feel accomplished for being pissed all the time, or did you wake up?
My wife asked me, or basically told me, really, that all of my injuries and everything like that were my choice because I earned them doing what I did. And so the question that I was asked was if I could get rid of all of my injuries, but everyone I ever saved or anything like that was going to die, would I do it? And the answer is no. And having that different like frame of outlook totally changes a lot of stuff, because it's like, yeah, I did what I did, you know. I wanted to help people and I helped people, and like thousands upon thousands of guys that were in my career, I got seriously injured. And, uh, you know, ultimately, though, I am proud of all the babies I delivered and all the old ladies I brought back when they were coding out, and, et cetera, et cetera. So that makes it where I'm not quite as angry with myself and my situation. And hell, I might as well be a therapist because I've seen them for so long. Like if it worked by apprenticeship, I would be like a master therapist by now. But basically, anger turned inward becomes sadness. So if something happens to you and it makes you angry because you feel like it's unfair and blah blah blah, and you turn it inside, that's how you become depressed. So the deal is basically to accept things. And of course, the fact that they were both my therapist and wife were trying to make me out to be the big goddamn hero of the story, that helps too. That helps my ego. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody wants to be the big damn hero. And so, yeah, it's like, yeah, you
Is
got.
Six Nations 31 Kings in the chat today? I have your girlfriend painted up, sir. Or your next girlfriend, because she'll keep trying until she gets your soul.
Uh-oh. Six Nations is in chat. I haven't seen him.
I haven't seen him yet. Thought I'd ask.
Yeah, he pops in, he pops out,
Yep.
I need a nice, right there, blue. I'm mixing up the flesh tone for the Harkonnen. So I've got the human flesh tone, but I need some blue because their skin is so white that if you just added straight Gilliman flesh or something, it wouldn't look right. And then on top of that, I've got to thin down the actual wash to where it barely even is a wash. You know
Why don't
what I
you take
mean?
some black and just thin it out a little bit, James, with some white?
Because by doing what I'm doing, in theory, when it dries, there'll be a slight bluish tinge to all the details of their faces. And that'll make them look colder, if you get what I'm saying. Because when you work with colors, you're working with, there's warm colors and there's cold colors.
I thought he was talking about something else. I was going to be like, man, he racist.
So if I show you this guy, Raban, you see do you see how his
I love that
skin
face.
is really pale, but it's almost got just the slightest blue. And that's what I'm looking for, because that's a cool color. It makes the miniature look cold. Now I still have to do his whip. He's wearing a whatever that vine was the Harkonnens like to whip people with. He has one on his belt, and they're blood red. But yeah, this is that was Glasso Raban, who was also known as the Beast.
He's a pretty vicious at MOS. He's pretty vicious guy.
Well, yeah, he was originally the Baron's favorite until the Baron realized he was really dumb.
Mm-hmm. He's not smart at all.
But the Baron still liked him because of how brutal he was. And then when Fade, the younger brother, come around, Fade wasn't a big burly, whatever, but Fade was slick. You know what I mean?
Fade is cat-like.
Yeah. Fade was more about agility, but he was also all about plots. Like, he tried to kill the Baron numerous times. Eventually, the Baron had to call him in and call a truce with him and explain to him what he was doing. Because, Fade didn't know what was going on.
No.
So he was going to kill the Baron. So eventually the Baron calls him in for a private meeting and says, Fade, don't you understand? After Raban drives the people of Dune almost to rebellion, I'm going to replace him with you. And they will love you because you will be nicer than Raban, which is basically Machiavelli's The Prince, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally the Beast and the Prince. And at that point, Fade was like, and then the Baron was like, truce. And Fade was like, truce. Yes. And they kissed their fingers and touched. And Fade never tried to kill him again. But yeah, the problem with Glasso is he just was too.
His intellect is really not that great. So he makes up for it with his brutality.
Yeah, he makes up for everything by just being brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And making people fear him, which is not a bad thing to do if you got to work with him. I mean, my character in the Dune role-playing game works almost directly for him. But then again, my character in the Dune game is basically just a Harkonnen assassin. They just send me out to kill people. And I'm okay with that because I'm good at it. Because I'm max trained as a Mentat and max trained as a sword master. So my character is a swordmaster assassin Mentat. So I've got all the cool, like, living computer abilities too, Like when I use guns, I do a lot of extra damage because as a Mentat, I'm so good at calculating trajectories and shit that, I don't miss. But I prefer to kill people with the knife, honestly, which is why I took the swordmaster powers. You get up in there on somebody and you beat them down and get them stunned a little bit. And when they're stunned, you put the slow blade in them. Bah! And down they go. And then you pull out your desanguinator and you suck all the blood out of all the people you killed into bags that you carry. And when you get back to your house, you deposit all that blood into your fabricator that turns the blood into pure water. So. I mean, my buddy finished the quest, so he's got the Fremen death still. I haven't got it yet. But the Fremen Death still allows you to actually pick up the entire dead body of someone you killed and put in it. And over time, it will generate just a shit ton of water. Yeah, it's so weird, Coco, because like I was just hopefully not bragging about, because I don't want to sound like I'm bragging. I've spent my entire life in the service of this nation and its people, one way or another, mostly. But when I play video games, my characters are always just the worst, you know? Like when I played Warhammer, I was playing a dark elf, blackguard. I mean, when I played EQ, I was playing a freaking dark elf shadow knight, which is an anti-paladin, if you really want to get down to it. It's like, I don't know, for some reason in games, I will play the evil guy, but never in real life. There's very few things I think that would make me evil in real life.
So much fun being the outlaw in a game, isn't it? It's just sort of like going, screw it, I can do whatever I want, and it doesn't have no repercussions on my real life. I'm going to do this just to have fun.
See, if I'm in a group, I usually, if we're talking D&D, but any other game really, I'm going to play that character that you would describe as lawful evil. So I'm going to work really well with the group, and I'm probably going to have a code that I never break. Like I never kill children or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But outside of that, I'm also the guy that has no problem slaughtering anybody that gets in my way.
Well, that's why I always say I'm chaotic neutral, because I get into something like that, and it's just like, oh, no. We're going to win this thing. If you guys want to come along, you can. If you get in my way, you're dead. I'm done.
See, I think, and I'm not sure why, but I think
I've been known to knock off a couple characters before, just because it's just like, no, you go right ahead. I know that's a trap, but you go ahead of me and you go kill yourself. Thank you very much. You are just dead flotsam to me. Anyways.
See, that's why I hate chaotic evil or chaotic neutral, let's say, even though we both know it's chaotic evil. Lawful evil gives me the opportunity to actually work in a group towards a cause. And I might be like the Sander Clegane guy that walks into the bar and threatens to eat every fucking chicken in this place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then kills all those dudes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of character I like to play. I mean, there are rules. Like Sandar had rules. He didn't like killing children. And he hated the mountain because he was pretty sure the mountain killed their sister. But at the same time, he had no compunction about taking a human's life if he felt like it was necessary to progress along whatever path he was trying to go along. You see what I mean? And that's why lawful evil is a much better alignment. I mean, a lawful evil character could even befriend other characters, especially if they shared part of the same ethos you did. Like, if I'm in a mercenary unit and we are all worshipers of Hextor and we all believe might makes right, then, you know, it's entirely possible that I could develop a fondness for some of the members of the group. You know, also as a lawful evil guy, if I gave you my word that I was going to have your back in a fight,
You could trust that in the bank.
You could take it to the bank. I will be there. I will do every underhanded, evil thing I possibly can to win, but I will be there. And you know, I like that. I like that. The
Well, I
chaotic
guess we have
whole
two different
thing where you just
philosophies
got
on this,
somebody
Dave.
running around being a jerk. It's like it's not fun for me.
I guess we have two different philosophies on this, James. I'm there to win, and I'm fully capable of being with you guys. But if you're a complete idiot, and I'm gonna have to do something about it. You know what I mean? It's just sort of like going, no, you want to walk into that trap? Go ahead. I will hold the door open for you. You walk in, or I'm going to slam the door shut.
Yeah, that's a slightly different situation, I would say.
I just no. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work for me, James.
Yeah.
James, did you see that video I dropped in your Discord?
I haven't checked my Discord in like a day, so probably not yet. But I will check it after. I'm probably going to end this very soon because, you know, we've been on for a very long time.
Yeah.
I just have a few of these Harkonnen helmets to finish, which is a dark reddish brass. And then if I want to give them some highlight, I might get some of my really, really dark German black gray and just dust them. You know what I mean? Just give them just that little dusting so that you can see the details on them. But one thing about painting these Dune characters or miniatures, it's pretty easy because every side is so monochromatic. It's like House Atreides, they just all wear green.
I got to tell you guys a story too.
Okay.
So my the woman that my girlfriend here got a Honda CRV, and she's like something's wrong with my car. Something's wrong with my car. So we go out and test drive it. Finally, I figure out what it's wrong and stuff, and I'm like, okay, this is a simple fix, right? God, I am never gonna trust a goddamn guy at an auto parts store ever again. I go in there and I say, this is the number I need. He goes and gets the part and gives me the wrong number. I get home. I take the car apart fully, right? We only got one car working right now. I take apart the car, and it's the wrong goddamn part. It's a plug and play part. And I'm just like, I'm gonna kill this guy. So I have my son come over, pick me up. I have to go get the goddamn part, go back in. I have the car fixed in less than 5 minutes when I get home. It just annoys the crap out of me. And then I'm just curious to see what it's going to cost to fix the dang thing, right? If she was going to bring it to get fixed, it was like $600, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Well, how do these garages charge this much for a 10-minute job? You know what I mean? So that's my story.
That is a cool, down-to-earth story, and it happens. That's how Wolverine describes himself. Yeah.
But $600 for a was 100, and the price was, they gave us a price of $169 for the part. I shopped around, got it for $135, and I'm just like, I crawl underneath the car and I'm just like, oh, this isn't going to take long.
See, I was lucky. The car I had for the longest period of time was a Saturn SR2.
Yeah.
And those things just never broke down. It's like, as long as you got oil changes and shit, I don't know. The original Saturn, before they sold it to
GM,
Chrysler, or whoever the hell they sold it to.
GM bought it.
Yeah, those little SR2s, man, they just ran.
But here's the thing: this Honda, it's got 160,000 miles on it, and it's just like, it's so simple to work on. I'm like, come on, American automakers, let's go back to this point in time. If you need to figure out the emission bullshit, figure it out. We don't need all this computer crap. You know what I mean? In these cars, I mean, that's what really gets my
Well,
goat.
it's like that truck they're thinking about selling, which part of me really hates it because it's supposedly only going to be electric.
Which one? The Scout?
I forget the name of it, but it's going to be like super affordable, like 20K or less. And it's just going to be a little truck.
That's all we need.
But the negative is it's going to be electric.
I don't want it.
And I'm like, come on. Throw a
No, I
four-cylinder in that bad boy.
I cannot feasibly drive an electric truck. I mean, I could back and forth to work. I mean, if I had a choice and I had the money, I could drive a motorcycle back and forth to work, and I'd probably use one tank a month. You know what I mean? Because from here to my semi truck and back. Okay,
Right.
big deal. But not in the wintertime. You know, that's impossible. You know, if I was down in Florida, I'd have a parking in my goddamn driveway. You know, I'd be like, no, I'm bringing the truck home. I'd never use my pickup truck or anything. So
Yeah, down here, the big threat is if you leave your car out too long, the sun will bleach the shit out of your paint job.
well, the HOAs down there are my biggest threat down in Florida, and I am not going to live in an HOA anywhere.
Yeah, they can be a pain in the ass.
I will not live in an HOA no matter what.
Yeah.
If somebody comes around and says you want to join the HOA, I'd look at them and laugh so hard that I would hope I gave them a headache, because I am so anti HOA. It's not even funny.
So
Just
other
like-
than possibly needing to paint something on the back, and I'll have to double check. I need to base this guy, and then he is basically done.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, that's Russell the Beast Raban. That whip he carries on him is made out of a special vine that grows on Giddy Prime. And if it hits you, it will cause you to be in extreme agony for 7 years. So, I know you don't really care, but Gurney Halleck, that big scar he has on his face,
Yeah.
is from when he got hit with one of those whips, because he was born on Getty Prime
Oh.
to the lower classes until he snuck onto Duke Leto's ship, and Duke Leto took him in.
Well.
But yeah, it's about time to get going.
Yeah, you've been out for a few hours.
Yep. But I'll catch you guys later.
All right. Later
Well-
days, better lays, man. Talk to you
Yeah.
later.
Thank you.